Hi, chap. Hope everyone's having a good day, good night, good evening. How's life going? Me and Kinders were just talking about Yamato discourse, which is happening again.
Yeah.
For like the 200th to bajillionth time, even though Yamato is definitely not trans. And we know Yamato is not trans because Oda released a trans character in the same chapter to demonstrate how he would write a trans character.
Yeah. This is what LARPing actually is like. It's on theme with today's episode.
Exactly.
And then people always say like, oh, well, Kaido Kaido's abusive.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if Odin was alive today, he literally would be like, yeah, you know, I hate you still. Like, listen, guys, we all know that the reason why he even accepts that Yamato calls herself Odin is just because it humiliates Odin. That's it. It's literally that simple. It's not that complicated.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's like, are you really using fucking Warlord Kaido as your bar for morality?
Your warlord enslaver Kaido. What is it? Isn't this trans character actually pretty cool? Yeah, their name is Kiku. And Kiku's really cute. And that's my issue.
You're roboting a bit.
Oh no. Let me move my microphone out of the way a little bit. That's probably why.
Thank you for the 2 red hair crosses. Hey there, Kin, and the fish too. I see how you do.
Sadly, chat, I did not pick the video.
You are still roboting a bit. I wonder if that's on my side. No, it shows my internet's fine.
It might just be the mic, because sometimes when the mic is in front of me, it like blocks and then I just suddenly move.
Which
There's an Android
roboting?
user confirmed. No, even funnier. So I have an Android, but I track with iPhone. It's just that when my microphone blocks my face, I robot like a ton.
Fair, because it sounds better now.
Oh yeah, I pushed it closer. Yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. The biggest problem with the Fire Nation was not the genocide, it's that they were homophobic and they didn't give Azula a chance to be good. People joke, but that was in the books. In the books,
Yeah.
they made the big breaking point for Korra that the Fire Nation outlawed being gay. Which doesn't make any sense.
Keep in mind, the guy had a gay sister. He didn't hate her because he was gay, because she was gay. He hated her because she was the favorite. It just extended to being gay.
Yeah.
He just wanted to screw with her specifically, like Lex Luthor when he cured his sister's cancer and then gave it back.
And thank you, Yoga Mike, for 5. My Twitter account got suspended after it got unsuspended yesterday. If I get it back, what should I do to prevent automated suspension again? Unfortunately, there's nothing you can do. Our suspensions are based on AI now. You just have to hope. Cross your fingers, hope and pray.
Yay.
So chat, we do have our main video today. I did pick up a second one because the main video is kind of short. But we do have a second video that comes after that is specifically so me and Kendra can never beat the allegations.
Azula gay. No. Sozin's sister was gay and the favorite. And then when Sozin took the throne, he outlawed being gay just to mess with his sister. Again, like the time Lex Luthor cured his sister's cancer and then gave it back to screw her specifically.
See, at least that's funny though. Because that's so ridiculous. Like, he actually went out and cured cancer just to give it to somebody again.
No, oh no, his sister had cancer, and then he cured her cancer, and then he gave it back to her just to screw her specifically.
Yeah, it's just funny.
You gotta remember, it's Lex Luthor, the king of being petty.
True. But chap, today's first video is about Larpers, which I think we're all keenly aware of Larpers and how Larpers act. This one was supposed to be about why calling people Larpers is bad, which I disagree with. Calling people Larpers is fine. Mizu TCG player AI fraud detection is preventing me from sending you and Akko cards. I don't know how TCG player works. That's unfortunate. You can probably put it in the Discord and we can talk about it. Because I don't understand anything about... I've never bought from TCG player. We were just using it to check prices. We have a place IRL, or I have a place IRL I go to, and then Akko has a place near them that they go to. Except I think Akko's is bigger. Mine's like this small town shop that just kind of carries random shit. Oh. But chat, let's learn about LARPers. Go. There it goes.
Let's go.
Criticism of something can sometimes become more annoying than the thing itself. Today we're going to be talking about culture because things are changing. Things ain't the way they used to be no more.
See, I'm glad that all of his clips are of anime, even though he doesn't only talk about anime, because it gives me an excuse to talk about it here tonight.
I mean, let's be real here. The anime community is the only one really using it, and for good reason.
Fair. Everybody else has already lost. Also, I forgot to... sorry. I forgot to make a little goal for stream. I forget to make a goal.
Listen, the anime community will only lose if corporations bend the knee. And so far, the only ones really bending the knee are is it Aniplex? Yeah, just straight up Aniplex.
Amniplex?
And only because Aniplex is in charge of the more popular isekai.
True. Thank you, Internet. Azula being the crazy sister would not be improved if they made her gay. Thank God the books didn't screw that up. To be fair, the books did make Zuko a cuck, and then they did try to give Azula a redemption arc, which she failed.
There was that, and there was that, and instead of making her gay, they were like, it just brought about discourse of, man, I think Azula being in a wheelchair and mentally ill is bad, shows bad signs of representation for the mentally ill. Number one, the reason she's in a straitjacket is because she's the second best bender, now the first best bender in the entire nation. I think we should restrain her.
Yeah. Because we kind of cover this with, like, rest of Avatar, is firebending is one of the few bendings that kind of just comes out of fucking nothing. With earthbending, they actually need earth, and with waterbending, they actually need water. But for some reason, firebenders are just like, we could just ignite the air, fuck you.
Oh.
Same with airbending, though, just because air is everywhere.
Yep. Pretty much, it's like, air is pretty much its counter, which is why they struck the air temples first.
Exactly.
Listen, you give Korra everything, all the hate that it gets. The best thing that it showed is exactly the reason why the air nomads were killed first.
Thank you, Baracho. I don't want Azula to get better. I want her to get worse.
Listen. Korra showed us exactly why the air nomads became monks.
Yeah, pretty much.
People have started to recognize that after 2020, there was some shift where nerdy topics suddenly became cool, mainstream, and trendy. I heard it get called the Great Switch Up or Great Shift on TikTok.
There's your first problem. You're on TikTok. Yeah. Why the fuck are you on TikTok? And who's calling it the Great Switch Up? It doesn't need a name.
I've never heard it called the Great Switch Up, but I definitely have heard people say, yeah, I know y'all are switching up on us.
Yeah. I've never heard somebody call it the Great Switch Up, though.
It is an appropriate name, a little bit.
Yeah. Watching all the stuff I used to get bullied for become popular online. Yeah, it's annoying. Especially because I know that they don't really like it.
Listen, I like it for more nuanced reasons than you do, and that's all I need.
Bullied for liking just 10 years ago video games, anime, alternative music. That now is pop culture, whereas before it lived kind of on the fringes. These are strange times. For example, I was on Tinder last night because I'm a chud, and I saw somebody's profile say, swipe right if you've heard of FNAF, which...
What about being on Tinder makes you a chud? Do you know what chud means? I was swiping on Tinder because I'm a chud. Shut the fuck up.
Your first mistake was having Tinder.
So, we're about to... I've actually watched this. Kendra has not watched this. We're about to get to the point where I was like, this is going to be stupid, and you're an idiot.
It was absolutely baffling to me because back in 2014, I got called a furry
Here, I gotta scoot back a little bit because I did go over it.
on Tinder last night because I'm a chud, and I saw somebody's profile say swipe right if you've heard of FNAF, which was absolutely baffling to me because back in 2014 I got called a furry and loser for loving that series by
No, you fucking didn't. You dumbass liar. FNAF was a niche series for 2 days until Markiplier played it. It was like literally 2 fucking days it was a niche series. And then it was immediately wall to wall everywhere.
Not only that, but like you guys got to remember, FNAF was for kids. Was like the primary fan base back in the day when I saw it was kids. The only adults in the space were freaking the game theory people. There was nothing but children as far as the eye can see.
But I heard
So you
this.
basically got called a loser. You got called a loser by your fellow teen.
But I heard this, and I was like, what are you talking about? FNAF was like a niche series for 2 days, and then it was just everywhere.
Ah, Manly. Manly is listen. If you want a good Let's Player that does the niche stuff, especially RPG Maker, Manly Badass Hero, that is the guy. That is the guy.
Like that, there was no great switch up on FNAF. It was popular a week later. Like, I don't know what you're talking about, bro. Also, the hot diggity demon animation in the background.
Oh, he's been posting so many clips recently on like Instagram, and I'm just like, man, this guy's actually a lot funnier than I remembered.
But you know, hot diggity demon's always been funny.
Like I knew he was funny, but you know how like sometimes you'll look back and it's like maybe you weren't that funny, but then you realize, oh no, you were that funny.
Yeah. This animation in particular was pretty good, although he did not have to make Chica as hot as he made her.
Let's be real here. I still don't understand FNAF 1. I can understand people who do cool illustrations of FNAF characters or make anime versions of them. I will never understand people that think the FNAF animatronics from FNAF 1 specifically are hot.
Oh yeah, Internet Zen Master is always right. FNAF really didn't get picked up by furries until there was probably some of them early on, but it really didn't see a big surge in the furry community until 3 when they did the toy animatronics.
Toys were 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, that sounds about right. Because I remember everyone was talking about how hard FNAF 2 was specifically.
Yeah, toys were when
FNAF.
Well, toys was when it got big. A little bit after that, and then it got ridiculously big with furries and Security Breach.
Listen, I've said this before. There is a divide of artists before and after a furry touches it. A good example, FNAF 1. A great example, FNAF Security Breach. You know furries touched that game. I can't prove it, but I know.
Oh, just with it's Roxanne Wolf, I think. 100%.
Yes. An insecure girl who looks like she's in the brink of ruin. Sign me up.
Thank you for the super internet, Zen.
everybody in my school, but now it's literally everywhere and everyone on earth knows about it. I can't escape it. I go into a Walmart and a GameStop in my mall and it's just Five Nights at Freddy's everywhere in the vicinity. I'm not really sure why this is. The pandemic forcing people to be inside and congregate online could have something to do with this, but whatever the case.
No, what happened was fucking Markiplier played it. FNAF was always big, you're just retarded.
There's also ignoring the fact that, because even before like Security Breach, Sister Location was what pretty much like slung-shot it into like the public because of just how good it looked. It's like, yeah, number one, the reason why everybody's talking about it is because all the kids grew up and now have a disposable income to talk about it and cosplay it. That's it. That's literally it.
Yeah. This is because again, he's making a video about Larpers and calling people Larpers like incorrectly. I'm like, no, I feel like you're a LARPer. You're LARPing as being the kind of like old heads that got bullied. It's like, I got bullied for FNAF. No, you fucking didn't. FNAF was never not popular. And he's gonna go through some of his other interests, and almost every one is, that was always popular, that was always popular, that was always popular. Like, what are you talking about?
Okay, bro.
The general populace and, I guess, normies, for lack of a better term, have gone back and given older geeky media a second chance. The person who bullied you for liking anime in 2014 now reps an Attack on Titan shirt.
How dare we speak Merry Christmas? How dare we? Merry Christmas, everybody.
I now see new generations and normie types collecting old video games, old consoles, old movies, and old media. I never imagined I'd see the day where nightcore, anime, creepypasta, and video games were things people were gonna brag about being into, to the point.
That's another one. Like, creepypasta was always kind of popular. They were just internet horror stories. I don't... Like, there was a type of creepypasta that was not, which were like the girls that were just obsessed with Jeff the Killer and Slender Man. But creepypasta itself has always been like semi-popular.
Was it, at least for me, because I kind of explored it a little bit, but mostly backed off because it got a little bit too scary for some of them. The thing with creepypastas is I would say they were more akin to like, if you know, than like outright being popular. Like just that niche of the internet. Not, oh man, people used to get bullied for creepypasta. It's like, no, if you knew, you tried to experiment with writing and then you just moved on with your day.
Yeah.
Where you do get bullied if you don't know the latest, like, analog horror thing or whatever, but
this is not happening. Look, analog horror really took off because of Wendigoon. However, go to any analog horror video, nobody's fucking watching it. I say this as somebody who does go watch them because it's in my wheelhouse and I enjoy them. People watch the Wendigoon coverage video of it. Nobody is actually watching these.
Only the dedicated people. Only the dedicated.
And then again, this is the LARPer problem. The LARPers are exclusively watching Wendigoon. They are not actually going to watch like the videos that he covers. And that those people are the LARPers. And he said, yeah, it's fine. It's okay if you like when Wendigoon talks about it, but please go watch the original and give them the view that they deserve.
Yep.
Nonetheless, here we are.
But also that, somebody will bully you if you don't know about the most recent analog horror thing. No, they fucking don't. What are you talking about? They might bully you if you don't know the most recent Wendigoon video. They don't bully you if you don't know the most recent analog horror thing.
Even if they did bully you, they would immediately be like, you haven't seen it? How lame. Go watch it, go watch it, go watch it, go watch it. Because that's how kids and people are.
Like, I have no idea what he's talking about with some of these. Like, I think you were severely underestimating how popular these things are. Or overestimating, I mean.
Maybe it's because everybody's sick of the corporatism, minimalism, and slop content. They want to go back to a time when effort was put into the look and feel of things. It was all more human. And when everything was better for the consumer. Collecting physical media.
I'm afraid to warn you, it was never better for the consumer. It was slightly better. It was not as good as people like to think it was.
Listen, presentation does not mean better. And I'm saying this, and this is my hot take. I think modern is good. If anything, I would rather have the aesthetic of back then and all the conveniences of now.
Yeah, chat has it right. The economy was better. The consumer was still treated like garbage.
No, for real.
Thank you, Internet Zen. I hung out with the Slenderman Jeff the Killer creepypasta side of DeviantArt, of all things. That was 2011 to 2018, and it was, is, and will be niche. Yeah. I had a black N64, but I did have 2 of the see-through purple controllers. I used to love the see-through controllers. I always had purple, too. I had a purple Game Boy Color see-through as well. And Game Boy Advance. But then I think SP might have been when they stopped doing it, because I only had like a plain black Game Boy Advance SP.
I think the worst part is that I remember seeing, like, because they always called them like the candy pop controllers, and I remember seeing them all the time. And it wasn't until I was older that I realized, man, I actually want those. Only to find out they just don't. I wanted a Wii remote version because I was trying to emulate something with a Wii remote, and they just didn't sell the one I wanted. It's all the black and white ones. It's like, give me the pink one.
From back then when you could actually own your own games and movies without having to pay bullshit subscription fees. Also, culture recently has been really retrospective. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but it's not as
See, what is this? We still talk about you shit. Markiplier is still active. Vanoss Gaming still puts shit out every week. Captain Sparkles kind of fell off really hard, but he still puts out shit every week. And there's Game Theorist on there. Like, I'll give you that one. Who puts Leafy on a list like this? Sorry, chat, behind my head there, you can kind of see it. That's Leafy is here's profile picture.
Oh, okay, it took me a second. I'm like, listen, I'm someone who unironically liked Leafy back then. It's just so cringe, bro.
Like, over half the people on here have never stopped being active. It's like, why are you...
No,
we
it's
still
the
talk
old
about
version.
shit?
We want the old versions back.
I guess. Vanoss still uses the same logo, even. He's never changed it. Same for Cap Sparkles.
innovative, and it feels like everything I see is just nostalgia posting. Every other TikTok and video essay is, remember this trend? What happened to this old YouTuber? And all these companies trying to take advantage of the nostalgia bait without knowing why their old branding was popular in the first.
So, this is actually sort of relevant to a conversation that happened today, but have you seen the video game mixtape?
Yes.
So, a comment I saw on it was, this is 2000s nostalgia for people who never grew up in the 2000s.
Yep, I saw that too.
I think that's very apt for all this, like, actual nostalgia bait stuff. It's not real nostalgia for people who grew up with this stuff. It's nostalgia for kids who heard about it. Which is why so much of it is just wrong. Like, in some way.
Yep.
We miss you, FPS Russia. We do miss FPS Russia. I forgot what all happened to him. I know he got, like, arrested for something. Or was he the one that died? One of them got arrested, one of them died.
Listen, all I'm saying is that the only store out there that I've seen that still kept its actual nostalgia while still somehow being relevant and in business is freaking Build-A-Bear. And I'm pretty sure all they did was just scrub off the dirt.
True.
First place. Everyone's so focused on the past rather than the future. And truth be told, in a lot of ways, the future does seem kind of bleak.
Why'd you put fucking Epstein's Island on here? Fuck off.
Oh my gosh!
That's that shitty little building from Epstein's Island.
Oh! I ain't gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say anything. But it's that golden sphere at the top. I'm pretty sure I saw that at one point somewhere else. But my thing is, like, we are not comparing the uptick in price of the Switch 2 and consumer to pedophile, political power, and red pill central.
Due to this phenomenon,
I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. Also, this video is new. It's very late. Andrew Tate hasn't been a thing for years at this point. He's mentioned as a joke. Yes, the $50 price increase is as bad as Epstein Island and Andrew Tate.
Y'all gotta remember also, this was like inflation. Like, it's like, well, back then consoles were 100. Yeah, your mom couldn't afford 100 either. What makes you think you can still afford 500?
Exactly.
have people who pretend to be geeks and OG nerds to fit in with the trend. The people who tout that I was there before it was cool when they really weren't. AKA,
Okay, mister, I was with FNAF before it was cool. Yeah, all 2 days before it was cool.
Larpers. LARP means live-action roleplay, like those people who go and play D&D or set up a Renaissance fair where they dress up in medieval garb and fight with swords and stuff like that. The insinuation is that by pretending to be something you never were, you're role-playing as though you were an OG nerd from back in the day. These people who do that for the trend are annoying. They act as though they were weeaboos or gamers from way back when, yet they would have probably made fun of those things 10 years ago. Yeah, those people suck and are LARPers. The LARPers have caused legitimate problems. When they go to buy consoles just to be performative, that jacks up the price for people who really want to get into those things. I was never too into Pierce the Veil much, but it really is bullshit that there will be quote-unquote fans who buy out seats at concerts from real fans only to know the TikTok part of the song, the looping chorus that's popular on TikTok, and they fail to know any other lyrics from the songs.
See, this is what I'm talking about. He's like, God, this niche indie band, Pierce the Veil, it sucks when the normies get into it. It's always been normie. What are you talking about?
So what I'm hearing is that this guy's a LARPer of being a normie.
Yeah, pretty much.
Guy's a normie LARPer.
He is so normie and he doesn't realize it. It's so funny.
Y'all heard anime LARPer. Y'all heard cartoon LARPer. Y'all even heard of Tia-boos at one point. Korea-boos. Now get ready for the normie of normie, the LARPer of normies.
Yeah, that does really suck. And if you are looking for someone with a similar background, friends who were OG nerds and are not trend followers, it can be more difficult now with the LARPers. However, this whole trend of calling out LARPing has gone way, way too far. I've seen countless comments under TikToks and Reels calling anybody a LARPer who shows any collection of old tech, any interest in anime, or if they're talking about something geeky wearing a cosplay.
Here's the thing. Most of the time, if all you're doing is showing off a collection, you're LARPing. Right? So, like, typically, if you're a gamer, you're not going to show off your big wall of video games. You're going to show off your favorite game. You're going to talk about your favorite game. That's the difference, and why people are so, like, hesitant to it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I've shown off my meager amount of anime figures before. But anytime I do, it's like, this is my favorite. These are my Shupogakis. Up here up top. You don't
Listen,
run around sharing videos of everything you own. That feels LARPing.
Listen, I've always done this every single time, and I need to repost the images again because I cleared up my Twitter. I have always said my favorite music video of all time and my favorite character of all time is the girl from Dayako Girl. Yeah, everyone was into me, but I like Dayako Girl more. But unfortunately, I have to share my space and be downgraded by me. So I have to also incorporate that into my own thing because that's as much content as I'm getting. Like, you can't be like, oh, LARPing is this, that, and the other. No. You gotta actually like the thing and even the other things, even though it sucks that you're not gonna get more content. That's a true fan.
And I also don't think this problem is as big as he says. And I'm going to mention it because Hato says, you know, the trend of taking a pic of your Vita, 3DS, and Thor, and they only have the home screen and no games playing. So somebody did that the other day with Pokemon Sun and Moon. And they're like, oh, this person's clearly a LARPer because they're like so early in on the game. Everybody called that guy out as a LARPer. Because they're like, if you knew anything about Sun and Moon, you'd know this person is, even though they have like level 10 Pokemon, they're unironically like 3 hours into the game. Because Sun and Moon just has so many cutscenes that it takes so long to get started.
Yup.
And it's like, yeah, you could argue that the one guy that called them a LARPer sucked, but everybody corrected them immediately. Most people that are actually into this know what they're talking about.
Yup. Oh, even better example. Last night, I was browsing Twitter, and I saw an image from that. It was talking about Gyaru in anime and Gyaru in real life, and everybody immediately ran to the comments and was like, "First off, brother, Despite being the biggest lolicon supporter out there, you should probably educate yourself on Gyaru, and here's all the different types out there. Unfortunately, it was a spiritu, and even I had to go out and be like, brother, I love you, but you're a larper right now.
Yeah. People only really think of Gyaru as the blonde hair, tanned skin girl.
Yep.
Sometimes with like the really heavy white kind of eyeliner, or whatever you call it, around the eyes. It's like, no, there's a lot of forms of it. That's the form they use in anime because it pops out, like it sticks out really obviously.
Yep, and so far right now, like for the longest time, that was the stigmatized Gyaru until they started showing the Ko gal, which is basically known as the safe gal we can put on TV and make it marketable.
Yeah. Also, yes, with tiger print underwear, which is ungodly hot. That needs to be a staple of all Gyarus.
Oh yeah. Oh, they're talking about the new Pokepedia. Yes, Bulbasaur and all of its variations. They're Gyaru to Ada Mom.
Fair.
Oh, it's like in the Japanese version. For some reason, Bulbasaur talks like a Gyaru.
That's weird. That's wild.
Sharing their interest in 2000s media, etc. Just look at how many GIFs there are on Instagram calling out LARP, no limit to the LARP, LARP king. If I only saw these comments on posts where somebody's actually a fake nerd, say, someone who doesn't know what they're talking about, fine, whatever. Though I see these people comment on every post under the sun. These people catch wind of anything even remotely nerdy and it's, oh, LARPville. I've actually got...
We're about to hear why he actually has a problem with this.
First off, if you see someone posting tons of her, they're also a LARPer.
Yeah.
That's where you use the LARPing.
I've gotten that comments a few times before. In a recent video, I called spike factories from BTD needle factories. I've been calling spikes in the game needle since I was like 8, and it's just always stuck with me. I don't really know why. But the more egregious one is Five Nights at Freddy's, where I got called a LARPer because I dare to think that security breach is actually good. I'm not.
Yeah, you are a LARPer for thinking security breach is good. It's fucking garbage. It's a barely functional game.
Again, it looks amazing. It really sucks as a game.
People hated it because it's hot garbage.
And this is actually a game that LARPs the 80s.
This is something I mentioned on Twitter, that when I was watching this video, he feels like somebody that has turned all of this stuff into his personality. And he doesn't realize he's LARPing like his own existence at this point. Because a lot of stuff, it feels like as soon as the next new thing comes out, he just moves on to the next new thing that has been dedicated to his personality, and now he likes that.
Yes.
Also, yes, wall of text.
I'm not gonna lay out the reasons why, as I've done so like a million times, but I am gonna show these chopped ass photos of me from 2015 now because I have to. I mentioned
I don't know why he's doing this.
To be fair,
Chopped
this
ass
is
photos of me
definitely
from 2015. Okay, buddy.
to be fair, this is definitely the 2015 aesthetic.
in many of my videos that Ninjago has been my favorite show since I was a kid. I bring it up a lot, actually, how I'm such an OG in Ninjago, because I feel like I have to, or else I'm just gonna get called a LARPer for daring to like Dragon's Rising, even though it's objectively as amazing and good as Ninjago. It's genuinely crazy. It gets
So, you're just saying this because you're upset that a couple people called you a LARPer, and that's part of the reason I don't think you particularly enjoy what you're talking about. Because you seem to care a lot more about people respecting your interest in it than you do having an interest in it. Like, I've had people call me a fake fan of stuff before, and it's like, okay, you believe that. I don't really give a shit.
Listen, me and Royan have our own favorite series. Mine is All-Purpose Cultural Cat Girl Nuku Nuku. Royan's is Guilty Gear. We all have that one entry we specifically talk about hating because it makes no sense in the franchise. Mine is Dash, Royan's is Strive. We love this franchise. We hate these entries, but we still love the franchises because of how stupid some of these entries can get. Just if you get mad about it, you're not really pretty much just like you said, you're not really understanding why you even like it or hate it in the first place. It's like, it was surfaceable. No. Unfortunately, you got to get kind of hardcore with it, guy. Sometimes you just got to hate it and then be like, this is why I hate it, and now I'm calming down.
Yeah.
I'll save this rant for next time.
It's really annoying because you're starting to gatekeep shit and push away people from finding genuinely interesting media that they...
Good. So this is something he realizes early on that the problem with LARPers in physical media is they jack up the price of physical media. And like me and Akko have obviously had to deal with that with the card stuff. We have all these LARPers that are just running around because of fucking, it's Logan Paul or Jake Paul that decided to talk about how expensive they were. And now...
They're the same person.
Yeah, they're basically the same person. And now we can't just buy like a $5 pack of cards. We have to pay like a $300, like 200 case of cards just to get anything. Like that's blatantly annoying. But he doesn't realize that with majority of it, the problem becomes when the company starts catering to the LARPers. And he doesn't understand that that's the point of having gatekeepers, is once the company starts catering to the LARPers, it becomes not the thing you liked anymore.
Yep.
And people could say, like, oh, well, you know, the company should have, like, a backbone or something. They're not going to have a backbone. They're going to chase the money. They did that with Fire Emblem. We are now on, like, our third entry, or we're coming up on our third entry in Fire Emblem that is nothing like what Fire Emblem was. Which tells me that the LARPers have won, and I'm just never getting my Fire Emblem back. That's about how that is. I just have to go to a new series now. And he doesn't realize that, because he doesn't care. All that matters to him is the property, the item, the fandom, or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter if the thing he likes is actually ruined.
Not realizing, like, even what is it? Using another example again, there's a reason why for the longest time people hated GT, because even though it has a lot of things that are good, it has a lot of things that are really bad about it or really annoying about it. I'm someone who got in because of GT. It still has a lot of issues that I see in my eyes for my own reasons. So then when Super came out, everyone collectively apologized to GT because at least GT still had some good things about it, whereas Super just had a lot of good things at the end.
Thank you for the 69 biddies, Gabby. It says XCOM 2. Yeah, my understanding is XCOM also had its own problem with, I forget what they called the newer ones. But they kind of went away from what XCOM was as well. And then thank you, Internet Zen, for the 5. It's like 40k fans in the great divide over Primaris graybeards like me, having strong emotions on it. But then there's those who performatively hate it. I mean, fair, there's sometimes people that just don't understand the point of hating it. Thank you, Zog. It was Chimera Squad.
Listen, I'll send out my hot take. Can I be real with you? Even though I understand that Ultra Instinct is cool, I hate Ultra Instinct. I'm like, what is the few? I remember it came out and I was like, this looks lame. And then everybody else being like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I was like, you know what? Maybe there's something wrong with me. Like, it looks cool in the manga. In the anime when it debuted, I'm like, that's it.
I think in reality, if there's nothing you don't like about your series, then you probably don't really like it.
Yep.
They might enjoy. My sibling was born in 2008. They just turned 18 recently. They really enjoy media from the 2000s, gaming and internet culture, the edge that it had, the art. So for their birthday, I bought them a PSP and I loaded it with classics from that era. You know, Kingdom Hearts, Metal Gear Solid, Final Fantasy, Persona, Silent Hill, God.
You should have taught them how to emulate.
Number one, all of this stuff is popular stuff.
Yeah.
Even when it came out, it's popular stuff. If anything, you should have uploaded, I don't know, like a neat... Again, this is what I mean about like actual LARPers in anime. They're only ever going to talk about the cool stuff. What's that one obscure series that you personally like and not just what's popular, even for its time?
It's like, oh yeah, I got my niece an Anthor, and I downloaded like this little niche series on it called Pokemon and Mario. Like, like no. Another way you can kind of tell it's a bit of a LARPer is like, oh, I uploaded it with all these classics. Do you know why the PSP was so popular in Japan? Because it was the JRPG system. Like, it was JRPGs and visual novels. It was loaded on it. And the fact that you haven't named a single one.
Heck, what is it? I remember a couple of days ago, people were literally talking about the Monogatari Vita game, or I think it was PSP game, or it was one of the smaller Monogatari games that everybody was like, wow, this is actually really good and is actually on par with the show. But, you know, it's stuck in PlayStation jail.
And it's one of those things that's like, you do kind of come across as a LARPer when you're like, oh, look at all this stuff. Can you explain what LARPing is in the context? So LARPing is basically when you're not in this context, you're not really a fan of something. You like it because other people like it, or because you feel it gives you some kind of rep or attention.
I'll even do you one better, because I had to explain this earlier to my mom when I was talking about mixtape. It's people who like the aesthetic, but they don't like that part about it. That part, a good example, I like anime, but I don't like the Japanese part.
Yeah. No, we see this a lot with, specifically a lot of the people we talk about with anime. It's like, you know, I love anime, but all of this fan service stuff into Love Ru, it's just going too far. And it's like, that's the whole series. You don't... What are you talking about?
I love Dragon Ball, but I hate the fact that it's based on Journey to the West.
Why are they all aliens? Like, what the fuck? Just make them all human. I don't understand.
Or even better, because again, I had like talked about this with like my mom earlier. I like Akira. I like Akira. I like the Akira brand. I love the motorcycle slide. I love everything about it. But let's like not set it in Japan, and let's not have Japanese. We'll not have a Japanese main character, because we want the money of Akira, but we don't want Akira.
Or better yet, I love Akira. The bike slide is awesome. I would never watch the movie though. I mean, like, it's kind of stupid, and it's all like in a different language. It's weird. You like, I joke, but there's unironically people that they like, oh, I love Akira. The bike slide is so awesome. It's like, oh, what's your favorite part of the movie? I've never watched the movie, but the bike slide is cool.
Oh my gosh.
Of war, all that. I shit you not, a week after I bought it, I get a metric ton of videos in my feed saying, oh, if you bought a PSP in 2026, you're a LARPer. You're a LARPer, you were never there. Everyone who buys a PSP never plays it. LARP, sahur. If you don't buy a Vita, instead you're a LARPer. And all these comments were agreeing with those videos. It's like if these LARP-tards, which is what I'm gonna call them from now on, I just came up with that right now, that's fucking genius, catch wind of a PSP for even a microsecond, this sleeper agent spawns from out of nowhere inside of them to spam.
So you see, you think you're this guy with the big thumbs up? No, you're the guy on the left here. You're literally making an entire video about how much this upsets you. You are not the guy with the thumbs up. I don't know why you think you are.
Sometimes they doth preach too much.
Thank you, Toa. Speaking of niche, as much as I'd like more people to know Crest of the Stars, these people can stay the fuck away from it.
Listen, I'm enjoying Nuku Nuku by myself with the few fans I've encountered on Tumblr. Stay away from my stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, LARPers aren't usually obsessed with the media they engage in. They're more obsessed with validation and attention from others in their taste in media more than the media itself. And that's why when I was watching this video, it's like, you come across as like King LARPer to me. Because all you talk about is how upset you are that people call you a LARPer. I don't care if people call me a LARPer.
The final boss of LARPing.
I'm LARP. So now I gotta worry about my sibling being called a LARPer because I dared to buy them something cool and introduce them to games and media from my generation.
I don't know, are you gonna post them all over TikTok? Like, that's the other thing that a lot of people get. They're like, oh, people are gonna call me a LARPer. Yeah, on TikTok. Everybody gives a shit about TikTok. Just don't post yourself there.
Number one, TikTok is full of LARPers, and they LARP the word LARP. You were already cooked.
Like, calm the fuck down, dude. It's not that serious. I hope all these people realize one day how silly it is to say, yeah, you're not allowed to like this thing because you weren't there 15 years ago. As if there's a window of time for when you can like something. Like, my sibling was an infant when PSPs were a thing, so what, new generations are not allowed to like something because they weren't there back in the day? That's fucking retarded. All you're doing is pushing.
Which is why nobody said that.
That's not how that works. Most of my favorite series are from the 80s and the 90s. I wasn't born, but it's the fact that I engage and enjoy these series and genuinely want to get into discussions with people. What is it? I think a good example of people of like a fandom coming back to life, not even because of freaking larpers, was the Trigun fandom with, and you can like or hate Stampede, but there were a lot of genuine fans who came out of that and genuinely were like, I want to revive Trigun. Now Stargazer did disappoint a lot of people, but we don't talk about that.
I like how without us saying anything, all of chat called it out. Nobody says this. I've literally never heard anybody say this at all. I like how he accurately described LARPer, and then he secretly changed the definition of it to somebody who wasn't there when it came out. Who's ever said that? I can tell you right now, if I saw a kid these days sitting at a grocery store counter or whatever, and they were playing on a Game Boy Advance SP, I'd have been like, God, that kid is cultured. His parents are giving him peak. You know?
I think the only time I've ever quote unquote seen someone be like, if you weren't born, then you shouldn't enjoy it, was this one producer. It was for Viz Media, where people were like, hey, can you re-release Shoujo? We weren't born for the release back then, but we're ready for it now. And the lady literally on the other side of the screen was like, well, you should have just been born there. It didn't sell good. So if you were born there, maybe we could change our mind, but that's on you. It's a real email, by the way.
Yeah, he's a LARPer because he only talked about the most popular stuff like Kingdom Hearts and God of War. Kingdom Hearts is on fucking Steam now, bro. You're like, I gave the classics, Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts is kind of a classic for the time, but it's not some niche series that nobody's heard about. They're still making new ones.
Here's the thing.
Give them Pokemon Ranger on that bitch.
What is it? What was the one that had, I think it was the PS2. Get something like if half of the PS2 library is not on Steam, it's not popular. That's niche. That's something that if people started LARPing right now and then suddenly it ended up on Steam, that's really what happened.
Yeah. Also, chat's correct that the word we used to use for the type of people he's talking about is new fags. No, people don't call them LARPers. They're called new fags.
You want niche? Go Rule of Rose. I've heard so much about it, but not a lot.
People away. Now, I get where it's all coming from. It's coming from a place of deep-seated resentment, and I fully
All right, Mr. Therapist.
Okay, bro.
Get ready to psychoanalyze us. We're only halfway through the video, by the way.
Was it 6 minutes? 6 minutes of this guy raging, and he's like, I know where it comes from. Rage.
You're all just angry.
Unlike me, who's livid.
Understand that. Now let me explain. I was a turbo nerd growing up. I was balls deep into things like Nintendo, internet horror, creepypasta.
You were a kid in 2015. My dad owned Nintendo systems.
My mom owned Nintendo. She was the one that introduced. My aunt had an arcade cabinet.
I was a turbo nerd. I liked Nintendo. Everybody liked Nintendo. Every parent bought their kid a Nintendo system. It's literally their brand is we are the system for your kids. What are you smoking? And in 2015, too, it's not like, my parents bought me a Nintendo system in the 1900s. Shut the fuck up. By 2015, specifically because of PlayStation, by 2015, every house had some sort of video game console in it. Literally every house, unless you were poor like me. Every other house that wasn't poor had one.
Well, listen, we were stuck on the Wii, and I was begging my parents, and I was trying to coordinate with my siblings. I was like, "Give me your Christmas money. We're buying a Wii U." That bid never got through.
Yeah, he was a kid when creepypasta was already mainstream. Like, creepypasta was taking off when I was a kid already. And then he's like, oh, in 2015, I like creepypasta. Yeah, everybody fucking did. At that point, they were already trying to make Hollywood movies based on creepypasta. You were never at a point in your life where this stuff was nerdy and abnormal.
Yup.
Maybe Homestuck. I will maybe give you Homestuck, but that's because we all make fun of it for different, more nuanced reasons than you could possibly understand.
I would say Homestuck, but not for the time, because then it got eclipsed by Undertale, which is definitely something that if you tried to claim was popular, or what is it? If you tried to claim was niche, we would all collectively make fun of you here and in the past.
Yeah.
Internet rave music, nightcore, happy hardcore,
Nightcore. Notice in the background he has Bass Hunter. Bass Hunter was popular, my guy. That's why you know the name of it.
Bass Hunter sounds like a meme.
I have to send you some of their music sometimes.
Eurodance, things like that. Roblox, Minecraft, Flash games.
See what I mean? He just starts going down the list, and it's like, that was popular, that was popular, that was popular.
Flash games were popular even before the mainstream internet blew up. What are you talking about?
That's what everybody did at school. Like, as soon as you got around the school's block, you were like, okay, let's play some Flash game. Where do you think balloons came from, my guy?
What is it? I didn't even have to. Maybe the school did have blocks, but immediately we had this. What is it? We had cool math games and stuff, or other adjacent type media like Pop Tropica and stuff. Like, they all had Flash games. Like, this guy is really the king of LARPing.
I was such a nerd. I was into all like the nerdy shit that nobody else liked. Like this niche indie game called Minecraft.
Minecraft was popular when I was a kid, and I didn't even browse the internet that often, and I was a freaking Nintendo kid.
Minecraft is so popular that South Park makes memes about it.
Minecraft was so popular, it had a resurgence twice.
Minecraft is so popular, they currently put out add-ons that try and teach kid about racism.
Minecraft is so popular, they have games still aping its style to this day. Minecraft is so popular, the creator still gets into controversy for his own political opinions.
Thank you, Internet Zen, for the 10. As a creepypasta aficionado, I recognize that background image. Bro got that from DeviantArt. Also, Marble Hornets was the Slenderman series. The guy is a new fag, aping it being a grognard OG nerd. Yeah, no, that's 100%. I feel like if you know, in like 2015, if you know Marble Hornets, you're already kind of like... like, it's just a thing. Like, people cover it all the time now.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure Wendigoon has covered Marble Hornets or Everyman Hybrid. I know Nightmind has. That's the thing, like, you are watching these videos on these series that have millions of views, and then unironically making a YouTube video and going, I'm such a nerd, nobody else likes this stuff but me. Or, what are you smoking? What?
Five Nights at Freddy's, anime, you name it. If it was something weird...
let's go through the... Every anime on here is popular shonen tard stuff, except for maybe this one at the top, which for some reason I don't recognize.
I'm pretty sure either that's Aria the animation or Shakugan no Shana.
You have...
Because I remember
I'll give you three on here.
Really popular.
I'll give you 3 on here from specifically a Western perspective. Top red-haired girl, Conan. Granted, a lot more people know about Conan now, but
yes,
again, from like a Western perspective. And then I can never remember the kid's name, but I've seen the series before.
Shinchan?
Shinchan, yeah. I will give you those three from a Western perspective. Every single one of the other ones of these have premiered on like actual American cartoon channels in mainstream time slots. Also, why did you have a picture of Naruto dressed as Goku? I just realized that. Like, why? Also, what is with your clipping? Like, look at this Sasuke picture where they clipped out like his shirt. And it's the same thing with her up top. Like, can you see that her hand is missing? And the sword, because they clipped it out?
I couldn't see it at first, but I was like, something feels off about the image. I'm pretty sure that's Arya. That's Arya the animation. Okay, that is Shakuga no Shana. Shakuga no Shana used to be really popular back in the day, and now nobody freaking talks about it. It's one of the early 2000s lolli anime. Shinchan is even funnier because like, even if you are a fan of Shinchan when it debuted in the West, you're still LARPing because they tried to make it like Family Guy by dubbing it with more American comedy.
True. And then obviously we have Riza over here from fucking Tokyo Ghoul. Everything on here except for those three were massively popular in the West. Although I will say, brave points for using fucking Fairy Tail arc Kirito over here.
Listen, at least he knows the better art style for Fairy Tail. Though I will argue Doraemon is definitely not one of those popular series. It's weird. It's one of those.
I would
weird
say enough people
would
would recognize this character, though.
I think enough. It's like Danganronpa. You recognize it, but definitely not mainstream in the West.
That Naruto is from a game. Fair. I don't even recognize him. He forgot, with all of the cropping out he was doing with his wand selection tool, he forgot to get underneath Naruto's arms on both sides. They still have the white background. He literally did just go in and like wand selection delete and didn't pay attention to what he was deleting, because like, how do you fuck up this? You even have some of Ichigo's hand to see through.
You're not gonna look and focus on that. You're not gonna pause. That's LARPing. Also, I just love the fact, because like he has like images of like single characters on screen from their respective series, but like we got 3 different art styles for like DBZ. We got official art for Gotenks and Trunks. We got Toriyama art style Goku, and I'm pretty sure that's a trace over of Vegeta.
It might be. But like all of these are mega popular, and other than a couple of them, almost all of these are new gen, or what I would consider new gen.
Heck, if anything, Hunter x Hunter keeps getting popular again every time Togashi tweets.
This is the anime the guy shows you when he says that he's into this niche thing called anime.
I just like the random Nami right here. I just love the random Nami in the corner.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Why specifically Luffy and Nami? I think it's because you genuinely don't know any other characters. Because if I was trying to make an image to make me look like less of a LARPer, I would probably use Frankie. But just because of how like wild his design looks. Maybe Blair.
In the same series. Blair? Yeah. Soul Eater too. Just. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. There's just like a couple characters, like I would probably choose this to make myself look like less of a tourist.
Heck, I would have probably put in some Magical Girl series. Even just one shoujo.
Also, like you said, Dragon Ball gets 4 reps, One Piece gets 2 reps, but you put Edward without Alphonse. Why? Why Ed without Al?
Because
I think you included Deku, but just in his regular uniform and not like in his hero uniform or anything.
Well, we already know My Hero Academia fans are illiterate, so it's only fitting.
Thank you, Red Heracross. I continue to be surprised that my love for Kinnikuman is still largely part of a niche in the West, despite the popularity of Ultimate Muscle. I'm surprised Ultimate Muscle never took off more because of how big like wrestling is in the West.
I remember that everything I went to my anime webpage filter at the top, it was always Air TV, Clannad, Sugarchara, Air Gear, and others. Now, Air was definitely something I was a big fan of. And every time, the moment I got my own school social media, that was my profile picture. Also, Clannad is also having a resurgence too.
It just occurred to me, why Riza? Like, all of these are sort of the main characters of their respective series, but then you have Riza instead of, God, what's his fucking name? I don't know why. Instead of Kaneki Ken, you have Riza, who dies in the first episode, by the way.
That's how you know he's a true fan. He remembers there. I think what's also funny is freaking the kid from Erased as his adult form, because you got to remember, and he probably did that because he's like, well, technically it's the main character, and it's like, brother, we all know that the kid is like the most shown part of the show, but you wanted to add the adult form to not make it look LARP enough.
Except for furries, I've never been a furry. Just throwing that one out there, I guess.
You're definitely a furry.
I was a power user of Amino from 2015 until the day it died.
I'm gonna tell you, Amino is the cringe white girl app. That's probably why you got bullied for that one.
To be fair, you're not wrong. Every time I hear about Amino, it's horror stories, and then what is it? It's either horror stories, grooming, or a combination of the two. Yeah. Until it died.
Like, for people who never used Amino was, the way people used it was sort of like a substitute Twitter mixed with Discord. That's not necessarily what its point was, but that's kind of how people used it a lot of the time. And the primary user base for it was a bunch of really annoying white women. I used Amino occasionally, but every community you would ever be in was just like a hellhole. Because imagine like you had a Tumblr, except no matter where you posted on Tumblr, you had a moderator looking over your shoulder that was like a 15-year-old white chick who would decide whether or not you could post what you just posted. That was Amino. It was horrible. Thank you, Internet Zen, for the 5. Want to prove you're not a tourist? Use a picture of Hakudoshi from Inuyasha, or how any of Naraku's incarnations. Amino equals LARPing incarnate.
Oh, you're right. All I'm saying is Kagura was the best girl of Inuyasha.
This is Ed after Shambhala, also not a single mecha. Big O, Gundam, Escaflowne. Where's Samurai Champloo? Yeah, you know what? I'm actually surprised there was no mecha in that. Like, at least throw in a Gundam or an Ava or something. Like, in the background is like a big...
as you can tell from New Gen fans, they don't watch anything that's not popular, and mecha isn't popular.
Fair.
Anywho, I was given as much shit as everyone else in that era was who liked that kind of media that I was into.
Basically none at all by 2015. It was done by then. Especially for the newer generation. The newer generation did not have to put up with any of this bullshit. Yep. By the time I was leaving high school, the tides were turning on anime. So I don't know what problems you think you had. You did not have problems.
When I was in freaking middle school, because like I'm sure like you're older than me. When I was in middle school, I had like a group of friends, and we all talked about anime, and even like the other kids talked about anime. And when one group of girls tried to make fun of us for just being weird anime kids, I was like, I'm not taking any of that from you, Miss Cheerleader. Goodbye.
Yes, chat. I'm a hag. I'm hag maxing.
I was not joking about that, by the way. She genuinely actually was a cheerleader, but I only found that out. I only found that out because I got her in trouble for one time for being mean to me.
I never really felt ashamed of liking those things, but it wasn't fun to get constantly teased for it. Like, I had this awesome Bowser shell backpack in school, and some asshole started telling people that I was watching Mario porn and things like that. The real question is, how did they know? No, that's terrible. I did no such thing. But shit like that happened all the time.
That's how I know you're a LARPer. Somebody who is really into a series has looked up porn of it at least once.
my thing is number one, you should probably be questioning that kid of what do you know what porn is? Like, we're the same age. How do you know about that before I did?
Exactly. Like, what?
Time where I draw creepypastas and I was a weeb. I don't know what the connection is there. Creepypasta has nothing to do with anime, but whatever.
Yeah, see, you can't even, like, keep your story straight. You're just kind of throwing it all together to try and make your fictional bullies look worse. And it's like, I just don't believe your bullies existed.
Number one, you would know that because he's trying to make the argument of, I don't know why creepypastas in the anime space were so interconnected. And it's like, yeah, because even with my own vague knowledge of creepypastas, there were so many Bishoujo edits of Jeff the Killer and Slenderman hooking up. And they were mostly by women.
I played Nintendo and I was a nerd. I liked Nightcore and it was gay. That was the big one back in the day that they default to was gay.
People were not still saying gay in 2015. Shut the fuck up. That was at the point where they were starting to say if you called somebody gay, you were a bigot and a homophobe.
Now it's making a resurgence.
And again, he puts Nintendo next to Nightcore. Also, Nightcore was actually still pretty popular, like, across the board, because it was literally just popular music, but sped up.
It's still popular. They just call it sped up, slowed down version now.
Yeah, Nightcore has never actually gone away. It's just we don't use Nightcore as the word anymore, which sucks, because it's a better word than, say, sped up version.
Yep.
I have no idea why they went away from Nightcore as, like, a term.
It's TikTok people. You never understand.
Gay. Literally a homosexual, because I was a big fan of Bleach, which is a little homosexual to be fair. I mean, there's some tension between...
Nobody called you a homosexual for watching Bleach. It was literally one of the few anime that was on Cartoon Network.
Not only that, you would see this everywhere in AMVs.
Yeah. It's literally one of the big three.
For me, I knew about Naruto and I knew about Dragon Ball. I knew basically nothing about Bleach, but you would be lying if you did not see at least Ichigo's, I guess, hollow form. That picture was everywhere.
Exactly.
Even if you didn't know what an anime was, it was everywhere.
Thank you, Internet Zen, for the super. As an eldritch horror, my generation was probably the last to really see the ostracization of weebs in the wild. And wearing a backpack like that, you got bullied for not hiding your power level. Like, especially because you got to think, he was saying like he was a young kid back in 2015. I'm telling you, if you came into my middle school or elementary school with a Bowser backpack, you were based. Because even at my age, you were based because your parents allowed you to do whatever the fuck you wanted. And didn't force you to get a normal backpack.
Listen, even the normal black backpacks, if they gave you the stylish normal backpack, that right there, that got you points.
Exactly. Your backpack was your status symbol in school. Thank you, Nakamichi. Nightcore's popularity died down by the time some YouTube channels started making original remixes of songs. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Mm-hmm. But it's seen a resurgence, but now they just call it sped up version.
Listen, the name will be reclaimed one day. Not now, but it will.
Yeah.
between Ichigo and Renji. You know what? I ship it. So anyway, after 2020, when all these things like gaming and anime became mainstream, I was a little upset. I had the mindset of, I had to be bullied for something so that you guys get to enjoy it now? That's not fair. Oh, what, so now that stuff is cool? Now that I'm not a vulnerable kid anymore? Now that I'm an adult? That's when it's suddenly acceptable? Oh, what, so now you want to be openly into anime and stuff? That was the resentment that I had. But at some point when you get older, you have to decide what kind of old person you're gonna be.
You're still a kid. You are early 20s at oldest. Very early 20s at oldest. And you're like, this is the kind of elderly person I need to be. Son, you're still a kid.
An older person that's cool is one that's like, yeah, no, screw that one media, but I'm gonna show you my cooler media.
Yeah. Also, he's doing this, like, I had to be bullied, so the next generation has to be bullied. That's not what the Larper accusation is. The Larper accusation is, you're literally the person that bullied me, you're not allowed in my fandom. Like, you specifically hated me for being in this fandom, you're not allowed in here. It's not, oh, this new kid isn't allowed in here.
He just keeps changing the definition.
There's Old Man A and Old Man B. Old Man A has the mindset of, I suffered so that the new generations don't have to. They adapt with the times, they're open-minded, they like seeing good times because they know how awful bad times get. Someone who was drafted into war so that their grandkids can play Sonic the Hedgehog.
That's...
He's about to say some wild shit, by the way.
Also, again, if you love a media, you are just as equally gonna hate on it as much as everyone else, and you're gonna call out when someone's lying.
My grandfather died in World War II so I could play Sonic.
I guess you could say he's a Vietnam LARPer.
Don't worry, chat. We're about to go some places.
The type
we're
of person
halfway.
who's happy to see their kids having fun on the game rather than being drafted into the military. That's Old Man A. Old Man B, on the other hand, is the mindset of, I suffered so new generations should suffer too. Unfortunately, the majority of old people end up being in this bitter mindset. They're closed off, they hate everything new even if it's good. They don't care for new generations having good times, in fact, they hate it. They pick it apart and call the youth too soft, and kids these days too whiny, they're too privileged. And they'll always say, back in my day, men used to go to war.
Yeah. He is just like lost the plot so hard.
I think this isn't LARPing anymore. I think this guy's just dumb.
They get mad at their grandkids for playing Sonic the Hedgehog instead of suffering in the trenches because they didn't get to relax.
How about using an equivalent example of, oh, I don't know, since you keep bringing up Sonic, freaking, if everyone likes Sonic, that must mean they will become a Christian. This is LARPing. This video is a LARP.
Enjoy their time. Don't be like Old Man B. Be like Old Man A. I had that realization and said, you know what? It's good that new generations are carrying on obscure internet things that I grew up with. Sure, it's not fair that they're not bullied for it as much, but you know what? I'm happy for them, and I should be. They're lucky. Just because I wasn't as lucky doesn't mean I have to be the asshole who takes that away from them. So it's all out of...
You're literally the kid. Like, that's part of the thing that makes this video so funny, is this is literally a kid going, oh, the next generation, I'm gonna be such a good older person to them. Brother, you're like 20. Shut up.
You know, again, using Sonic as an example, a better equivalent would be, don't be like Christian and don't be like Aaron Hansen, who both are weird about Sonic in the media and have LARPed being, well, you don't talk about what type of LARP Chris is going through, but definitely the LARP of Aaron, who was like, well, Sega fired me as an ambassador, even though I was still promoting the games, despite the fact that he would constantly hate on all the games. That's a LARPer.
Thank you, Toa. It reminds me of a fic where the character went back in time to stop Pearl Harbor, but accidentally wiped out anime, so they went back again and helped. Thank you.
You're gonna bring up that. I thought they were gonna bring up the Anne Frank Goku thing.
Thank you, Internet Zen. If he got bullied for having a special backpack, it probably happened in elementary. Kids are vicious little brats. He definitely just got into college. Yeah. No, he's young. He's probably still in some sort of schooling. And he's talking about like how he's got to be the better older person. Nah, bro, you're not old and you don't understand it.
The dimensional merge will come, Kendra.
Resentment. It's the old man B inside of you who's getting mad and saying, I had to suffer getting bullied, so...
Also, yeah, who are the old people he's talking about? They fought in the trenches, they'd push, 100. They'd be pushing more than 100 if they fought in the trenches. We kind of did away with trench warfare after World War I. World War II is like we brought out fucking tanks and we're just like, yeah, buddy, let's go. Like, and a lot of older people that fought in World War II were already dying. Like, if it's from World War I, that didn't exist, brother.
Now, I'm gonna bully you and call you a larper, to get even.
If the worst the new generation has to deal with is a couple people on Twitter calling them a larper, they're fine. They'll be fine.
It's like Tyler the Creator said, how is cyberbullying even happening? Just turn off the computer.
Look, I know we had trenches in World War II, but we didn't have trenches in the same way we did with World War I, where people were, like, dying by the thousands just trying to get out of them. By World War II, we had invented tanks, and we're like, yeah, brother, let's just barrel across the field at each other at this point.
Oh.
Getting called Larper was truly his own personal Vietnam. Thank you, Angel's Advocate. Yeah, the thing is, so much stuff was invented in World War II to make trench warfare just not fucking work, that trenches were kind of a thing we did not want to be in. Nobody really wanted to be in them. Also, I gotta correct you, Toa. We had a tank in World War I, and it was fucking garbage. And it came towards the end of World War I. It wasn't until World War II that we had, like, tanks that people think of as tanks. World War I, we had, like, some experimental little shits that were kind of garbage.
Become the person who bullied you. For example, I listen to things like recession pop and internet rave music.
Look at, like, these ones he's showing on screen, by the way. Caramel dancing. I gotta go back, because...
bully you and call you a larper, to get even. You become the person who bullied you. For example, I listen to things...
Kesha, Katy Perry, Avicii, Maroon 5, and...
First off, Kesha was on Victorious. You already lost.
And then 3-0.
Everyone knew what Katy Perry was.
Like, what is this supposed to demonstrate for you?
Things like recession pop and internet rave.
And then, like, these are still, like, fairly popular. I don't know what you're talking about.
Also, Caramella dancing, that was around on Phineas and Ferb when I was, like, 9.
By the way, chat, if you haven't looked up Caramel Dancing, the company that made it has tried to redo it like 20 times over because they have no idea why it got popular. Also, he's LARPing because he shows the Caramella Girls, which is their new age resurgence where they tried to redo it again. And not like the original Popotan dance.
Music growing up, followed by the whole sad boy rap thing in high school when that was a thing, like Peep, X, Juice, the emo rap as people...
Yeah, these were never not popular as well. This is actually something that was only not popular in the anime community, because we're like, wow, this is shit music. Why do you like this?
They look all like SoundCloud rappers.
call it. I wasn't into rock music very much until like 2023, and when I got into rock, I found my footing in emo, pop punk, new.
You did not just go over Green Day. Breaking Benjamin, Evanescence, Linkin Park.
First off, I saw how fast he was going. Rewind that back.
Peep X Juice, the emo rap as people call it. I wasn't into rock music very much until like 2023, and when I got into rock, I found my footing in emo.
Fucking Fall Out Boy and My Chemical Romance are the first two on.
I don't know who Fall Out Boy is, but like, I heard of My Chemical Romance since I was like a teenager. You ain't special, bro.
I'm genuinely surprised you've never heard of Fall Out Boy.
I think I may have heard the name in passing, but I could be just thinking of the Fallout games. I didn't have all I had access to that I knew was anime music and J-pop. Most new age stuff or like old stuff I do not know about.
To put Fall Out Boy specifically in perspective, the lead singer of Fall Out Boy sings one of the final songs in Has Been Hotel. He plays Abel.
Oh.
The lead singer of Fall Out Boy, Patrick Stump, plays Abel.
Oh my God.
You know, the niche music.
Oh, pop punk.
Then we have Avril Lavigne, Green
Avril
Day,
Lavigne.
Sum 41, Blink 182.
First off, Green Day, well, as we saw from the new animated Devil May Cry, Eat Your Heart Out. Number one, Avril Lavigne was in the freaking Tim Burton movie, the Tim Burton Alice in Wonderland movie, and I fell in love with that. And I was like, I fell in love with this at the same time I fell in love with anime.
Yeah.
Because just Alice in Wonderland is my favorite thing one of my favorite things in the whole world. What do you mean niche?
Like, this stuff might be niche among specifically your friend group. But if you go into any band t-shirt store, you are going to see every single one of these pictures wall to wall. These were literally the most popular of the most popular. None of these are niche. And some of them still go strong today. Avril Lavigne still gets work today. Fall Out Boy still gets work today. People still talk about My Chemical Romance all the time. Like, what are you talking about?
New metal.
And then, of course, we have Linkin Park. I think this is Limp Bizkit down here. None of this is niche, brother. None of this is niche. I hate to inform you.
Is that the guy from the Shrek openings, or
Who, the bottom?
who is? Yeah, the one with the red hat.
No, that's Limp Bizkit, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I can send you one of the songs of theirs that I really like. I particularly like break stuff.
I've never heard. Okay, so I've never seen anything from Papa Roach because I thought that was a YouTuber. I thought that was a YouTuber name, and I still heard about it.
Post-hardcore.
You do not have The Offspring on here. People on TikTok still play You're Gonna Go Far Kid as a sound. That one's literally still in memes today.
All I'm saying is that if you notice his entire discography, not a single black person. It's a white voice. Now that would have been niche.
I will say, so far out of all of these, the only one I have not recognized off rip is this one down here that says Attack Attack. I genuinely don't know what this one is.
Let me see this. Attack.
That is the only one I don't know what it is.
Attack. I've never heard of this band before. Apparently they're an American band that was formed in 2007. So even by 2007 standards,
Yeah.
if we don't hear about it, someone else did. The fact that their name is up here.
Yeah. No, Internet Zen Master has it right. For the love of, this is quite literally the hot topic discography is my playlist. None of these are niche. Also, yes, Mizu, break stuff is Kino. I would play break stuff, but I would definitely get copyright claimed.
What is it? Because like even though I didn't like get into the mainstream stuff, I got into like a lot of stuff from anime, or even stuff that was from anime movies. Like one of my favorite songs of all time is "The Neglected Garden" by Cecil, who played in the Arrietty movie. And that's like super, super niche if you know about it, because that performance is so buried online. Again, if you are like quote unquote not a larper, show me something that's like actually niche, not just something that you heard like 50 other people talk about, and now you're the 51st person.
But it's one of those things like he doesn't he's showing all this. None of this is niche. All of this was ridiculously popular. Some of them were the most popular of their genre. I don't know why you're like, oh yeah, I was into this weird niche stuff. Yeah, you weren't, brother, you weren't. All of these were on Rock Band and Guitar Hero.
For a little bit of grunge.
Radiohead and Soundgarden. Could you just put like one thing up here that's like nobody's heard of?
He doesn't realize it. He's the modern audience. You know what else he should put up here? You know what he should put? The Final Fantasy composer. Which one? Whoever wrote 7. I don't know.
Or I guess post-grunge, as I'm always corrected. I wasn't really there for emo back in the day when it started. I mean, I was a kid back then, but I never really got into that music back in the day. That doesn't mean I shouldn't be able to get into it now. There isn't a window time slot of when you can start liking something, or at least there shouldn't be. And those people who call everyone and everything a LARPer are creating that window, which is something that a real OG fan wouldn't do.
No.
If you were a real fan, you wouldn't care about posers.
No. You see, I've been a fan of an artist called Nagi and Nagi. I gotten late. I'm still discovering more of her discography because I didn't have access to it back then. I like it, and I hate some of her music at the same time. I love it, and I will still talk about what I do not like about her stuff. Yeah. A real fan knows the best version. What is it? A real fan knows what is the best album in their discography and the worst album in their discography.
Yeah.
There's 3 types of people that everyone keeps conflating as 2. There are the OGs, the people who liked things back in the day. There are the new gens, not using new gen in a derogatory.
I have to go back through some of this again. So let's look at some of the stuff in here. So for anime, 2 of our big options here are Death Note and Fullmetal Alchemist. Very niche choices. Yeah. For video games over here, we have fucking Wii Sports. You know, Wii Sports put the Wii on the map with like literally everybody, right? It is one of the highest selling Wii games ever produced. And people, like, they genuinely have like 80-year-old people in old folks' homes playing Wii Sports.
Not even just that. You gotta remember, Nintendo's been trying to kill off Mii's on purpose despite everyone clamoring for it. The moment Tomodachi Life came out, everyone bought it. They're like, I guess we're not killing off the Mii's anytime soon. Also, Fireboy and Water Girl. I saw that on Flash games as a kid. I was shocked that people saw that on Flash games as a kid and that it got popular. But my big thing that I know you're a freaking LARPer is Gen 4 My Little Pony.
Yeah. Gen 4 My Little Pony, Nyan Cat, literally everybody. My parents have seen Nyan Cat. Shut up.
First off, I reckon you can't slip that Vocaloid past me. I know what when I see it. That was my first Vocaloid. That was one of my first Vocaloids over there.
And then of course, like, look, you put Gur in there. Gur is like the most tourist thing to like out of Zim. And I like Gur.
Yes.
I loved Invader Zim. I've watched every single episode when it came out. And I have followed his work past leaving Invader Zim. Even some of the comics and stuff. But
Yeah.
everybody knows Gur. They sold Gur hoodies.
Gur was so popular, they made a character called Chuck in Panty and Stocking. And then Jonah and Vasquez talked about it, being like, that's all you got out of Gur when you first watched it? I mean, I still like him, but that's it.
Yeah. Like, everything on here is ridiculously popular to, like, all you're the old heads. You can like this stuff if you're in those communities. Like, you probably should like this. Like, if you're a gamer and you don't like some of these in here, I kind of am going to question your gamer cred, right? Like, we have the Final Fantasy up here. We have Halo Combat Evolved here. Like, I'm going to kind of question your gamer cred if none of this at all interests you at all. But it shouldn't be, like, your primary thing. It shouldn't be your most popular game that you like, because it is kind of normie.
Again, the only normie thing out of everything in the first list, every little chart and creature on here, the Vocaloid is probably the nichest thing on this list.
Yeah.
And that's only because this specific Vocaloid popped off when I was a kid, because I like talked about this with like someone else earlier. Vocaloid goes through cycles where if everybody will use Miku. And then certain producers will be given dev kits to experiment with the new Vocaloids. And then once that cycles out, some of them go back to Miku, some of them use this new character, but most of them just go back to Miku or their Vocaloid of choice.
Yeah.
Like, that's the most obscure thing on here. Not Full Metal Alchemist that's been on the top slot for like over 20 years.
I will also say, of this top square, if either of these three anime are your favorite, I think you can still be a proper anime fan. If Death Note is your favorite, I think you're touristy as fuck. Death Note is not actually good. Like, Death Note is a product of its time, and it has a level of interest to it. But if Death Note is your favorite, I've got some questions for you. Because it's really not that good of an anime, all things considered.
Death Note is like the anime you get introduced to when you want to know about like crime thriller stuff. Like right after like Death Note is something where you get introduced if that is your first anime, and then immediately you follow it up with something like Psycho-Pass.
Like, of
Like
the other
specifically Psycho-Pass.
of the other three, I have some hot takes about Full Metal Alchemist, right? I actually think Full Metal Alchemist is kind of rough in all three of its incarnations, because all three of them are technically different. But
Wait,
I can see why people would think Full Metal Alchemist was their favorite. But with Death Note, you're just coping.
What's the third iteration? What?
I'm talking about, like, the manga.
Oh, okay.
Because
To be fair,
for people
it
who
was
have
her, like,
only
first.
seen one of the three of them, manga, Full Metal Alchemist, and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, all three of them actually have a slightly different story and plot.
Yeah.
She could not decide how she wanted to do it, so she just kept retrying slightly. The most egregious is Full Metal Alchemist, the manga, is a lot more comedic for some reason. I can't remember if it's regular FMA or Brotherhood that tried to get really dark for some reason.
FMA, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one that was like, guys, Hitler.
You're back to robotic a little bit. Oh, Kendra's dying, chat.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, what is it? Yeah, no, but it's 2003 was the one that, like I said, I liked Full Metal Alchemist. It had a lot of good ideas. It also had a lot of crappy ones too, because I actually watched all of it. Because every single time, here's a good example: people that LARP, because there was like a couple about a month or two where people were LARPing, being like, "Oh yeah, no, like Full Metal Alchemist, the original was good, guys. It has really good," and they always point out the really good stuff that people talk about, the same talking points of the opening is a lot better than, and pacing is a lot better, and they add like really good filler of like the 2003 anime compared to the 2009 anime. Why can't the anime look like this and do that and this? They never talk about any of the other good things about Full Metal Alchemist. Like, again, because I actually watched it, I thought the homunculus backstories and all the things about them, and how like the homunculus were formed because they were failed human transmutations, and they had the memories, but were not the person. They did not have the soul or the thing of the person, and that was really, really cool. And then there was the whole thing of like, again, I hate the portal baby, but you can't admit that it still didn't look really cool. The problem is that it's still really crappy. Dante is like the worst villain I ever saw on screen, because her whole gimmick is basically, I want immortality. But the thing is that because she kept popping from body to body, she kept rotting faster and faster. And at that point, just die, lady. Like, I will tell you what is wrong with 2003 Full Metal Alchemist and all the things I liked about it, but no one ever actually talks about those things for just some reason. It's just the same freaking talking point.
Also, if we're talking about Hellsing and somebody quotes the abridged version at me, you're a fake fan. Fuck you. I hate the abridged so much.
Was it 2003 Envy's backstory was kind of stupid? Here's my thing. 2003 Envy, again, really good ideas. Executed really dumb. Why does Envy turn into a dragon? It makes no sense. Yeah, he has transformations, and yes, he turns into a beast, and we end up learning that, oh, that was like the original thing like Arakawa had. Again, though, it's really badly executed, and then leads back to Hitler.
Exactly. Yeah, for people who don't know, the book was more comedic. Regular Full Metal Alchemist was a bit closer to the book, but also got a lot more serious for some reason. The biggest problem with Brotherhood is Brotherhood expects you to have either read the book or have watched the original run to understand certain qualities. Which doesn't make any sense, because again, they do like a completely separate story, almost.
Yeah. So what is it? I understand why, because in a studio, like for a studio, it's like, we already did this, you already watched it, we do expect you to go back, and now here's the stuff that you actually care for. But again, because now, like, looking back at it, because hindsight is 2020, it's like, well, why didn't you just do that? And it's like, because we already did it.
Yeah.
We can't pull a Black Butler. We can't pull a Black Butler and just continue where we left off and just not say it and not address it.
This is why I get a little annoyed when people recommend, oh, you need to just go watch Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. No, there's a lot of stuff that's not explained in it because they assume that you've watched the original run of Full Metal Alchemist.
Yep. Oh my god.
Look, bitches love cannons is fine. Fine. Most of the other shit from Hellsing Abridged is horrendous.
I think actually the fandom that is the best at gatekeeping LARPers is actually Black Butler when you think about it. Because they immediately locked in when Black Butler came back and they were like, didn't season 2 happen? It's like, no, it was not canon. Now shut up and go watch Peak.
Yeah, Blue Archive is pretty big on it too. Thank you, Jack, for the super. Brings up post-hardcore, no mention of Dance Gavin Dance. Guess the guitarist Will Swan is too chocolate for him. Fair.
What does that even mean?
It's too chocolate for him. Also, let's have Alucard talking to God and Satan in a Skype call.
turn just newer generations who earnestly and honestly want to get into something old, like collect old tech and old media. Even the older Gen Z people who just couldn't afford to engage with gaming back in the day are trying to catch.
I will say also, this is dumb mindset in general. I understand why some people really want specifically this old tech and old media. Get an and Thor and dump a bunch of ROMs into it. And look, I sort of understand, because people have been fed this lie, right? That the physical media lasts longer. I can tell you for a fact that the average hard drive is going to last infinitely longer than any Game Boy cartridge. Like, I'm sorry, that's just the reality. All of that stuff was not built to last. It never was built with that like in mindset. In fact, a lot of Game Boy cartridges are already failing.
The only time you should go after physical media, and I say this as someone who's like collecting, not even like collecting, but like collecting books for references, and like collecting old CDs from like songs that I used to listen to on YouTube. The only reason why you should collect old media is to eventually archive it. If you are not going with it with that mindset in mind later down the line, you might as well just go shove it in a landfill, because that's as useful as it's going to be if you don't eventually port that thing to like PC and stuff.
Yeah. That's why a lot of people have been porting it to PC and then making a bajillion copies and putting them everywhere, because that's how you actually save something for the future and archive it.
Yep.
Thanks, Mizu. I need another thing to dump money into. I will not recommend a Thor yet, but I have one on order coming in. I will tell people how the Thor is when it gets here. I got one with a lot of space in it, and I'm going to put basically every game I own onto it, as well as onto a flash drive. Probably 2 flash drives. Review it? Yeah, I could do a review of it when it gets here.
Ooh.
I've actually been told that a lot of the DS games genuinely just run better on it because it's better hardware. What's a
Not too
Thor?
shocking.
After we're done with this video, I can pull it up right now. Why not? And find the website. It's basically like a DS, though. Okay, yeah, it's on their front page here. So, chat, this is the Odin specifically at the top here, I believe. But they basically make these different sort of kind of systems that are meant to emulate older consoles. This is the Thor specifically, which is the one I got, which is more of a DS. And then there's the Odin, which you can tell is probably more of a... It looks a bit more like a Switch, but it's probably meant to be more like for PSP stuff. Like, they're good little pieces of tech from everything I've heard about them, which is why I went ahead and picked up one. Can I pull up the Thor page, or do I have to pull up the pre-order page? Yeah, let me hide it, because I don't know if it's going to pop up my my information if I open it.
Clearly, listen, sometimes you just want to get doxxed.
Yeah. I don't think it has any of my information on here. But chat, this is the actual page for it, so you can get, like, for about $250, a 128 gig model of it. I got I don't think this one, I got the 512 gig. The really thick boy.
Ooh.
But you can get up to like a terabyte model of this on these. It's basically going to hold every DS game ever concocted in it.
That looks nice.
Oh yeah, no, they're good. But I could do a review of it when it comes in. Chat, Mizu's in the US. He's been doxxed.
Listen, and I'll say it like this, chat. Again, if you don't have to like eventually port it over over. Let's see. But again, eventually down the line, if you, because like, what is it? Because I collect Japanese art books of like series I specifically like. One of the reasons why, because I wouldn't do it if I had the opportunity to. The reason why I do it is because unfortunately Japan is very stingy about art books and spoil culture, so they'll just never archive it online, and I'll have to like browse and like guess, is this an eroge and will they post the porn CGs? Which I kind of would like to give that to I would rather not get that and just let a different, more dedicated fan have it. Or do I have to sort through 50 of them so that I can be the ultimate collector of this specific niche franchise because nobody's posted pictures of it?
We're almost done though, chat. We're gonna learn about the third person.
Up on what they missed, so they're new into it, and whatever, it's all fine. And then number 3, there are the trend followers who would have teased someone over liking Metroid and Legend of Zelda, but now rep a Samus profile picture and repost Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask aesthetics. Those who claim to be OG and don't know what they're talking about. These are the actual LARPers. Like, for example, there was...
I like to point out that his example of a LARPer is somebody using Majora's Mask aesthetics. I'm not going to say that Majora's Mask didn't see like a resurgence that included a bunch of LARPers. That is not like the first place LARPers are touching, though. I don't know why that's the spot you're using as your example.
I'm not shocked. At least for me, when I was a kid, I saw Majora's Mask everywhere before I saw Ocarina of Time. So many people had Skull Kid profile pictures.
Yeah.
That you could say is like a LARPer. If I heard anything just regular Legend of Zelda for like the 3D Zelda, it was either because of the glitches or because that was my childhood. Let me speedrun that as fast as possible.
Yeah.
This guy I knew who bullied people back in the day for liking anime until 2024 when he set his profile picture to something from Jujutsu Kaisen, I believe.
Just say JJK, bro.
Yeah, first off, just say JJK. But also, that makes me not believe you even more. Because, like, what do you mean you believe it was from JJK? I don't even like JJK, and you could use almost any character from that show, and I could probably point it out instantly. Because it's not like a tiny niche little anime. It's literally one of the big ones right now.
Yeah, even when it first came out, back when I thought Jujutsu Kaisen was a yokai anime, because I was like in a big yokai fix at the time, and I still kind of am. Like, people were just talking about it nonstop because of the freaking panda scaling the building that one time. In the opening theme.
Thank you, Internet Zen. Majora's Mask saw a resurgence because of been drowned in the creepypasta fandom. I mean, it saw another resurgence because they re-released it on, it was DS or Switch, I can't remember, I'm pretty sure it was DS.
3DS, yeah.
Yeah.
And then acted as though he was actually a weeb from the very beginning. And when we asked what anime he watched besides JJK, the only thing he could cough up was Naruto. That's a LARPer. Even if he earnestly said, hey guys, sorry for teasing you, making fun of you over anime, I've been watching JJK recently, and you know what, I had a change of mind, you guys were right, anime can be pretty cool actually. That could at least suffice, still a trend follower, but not as bad. These people who go out and call everything LARP don't realize that they're just incentivizing people to go ahead and LARP. Like, think about it, if you're out...
It literally doesn't make any sense.
You brought up Dandadan. No. You see, fans of Dandadan like Dandadan for being Dandadan. The real LARPers are LARPer romance fans that are shocked that the non-romance series isn't really that good at romance. Because if they really liked romance, they'd read a shoujo.
To be fair, the Amnesia arc is garbage. And the arc also only exists because Japan has a bizarre fascination with cucking, and I don't understand what it is. I think I've told you about this before. The romance I liked to read was one called Sensei Can't Teach Me Love. And there is one chapter in Sensei Can't Teach Me About Love where they try and lampshade that it's going to be an NTR arc. Where the teacher character, instead of being in love with the student character, actually gets with another teacher in the classroom. And they even try and make it look like the male teacher is threatening her into it by holding over the fact that he knows she's been with a student, basically.
Okay.
And we find out by the end of it that that's not what's happening, and there is no NTR. But the entire chapter is LARPing NTR, and it made me so mad the entire time because I fucking hate it. And every like anime story that has any level of romance has to have an NTR arc, and it's fucking garbage.
Oh my god.
I hate it so much. Japan, I don't know what's wrong with you on that part. That's the only part of your culture I will say can stay over there. You can keep that to yourself.
It's an evolution of will they, won't they?
It's
It's an
horrendous.
evolution of the third wheel.
No. Thank you, Toa. Wait, you mean all these people aren't talking about Jackie Joyner Kersey? I'll be honest, I don't recognize it, but I'm bad with names, so.
I've never heard of that, but let me see.
Girls Bravo has no NTR nonsense. Fair. Romantic rivalry is not the same as NTR.
Is a track and field athlete, Olympic medalist who holds the world record in the heptathlon and long jump.
Oh, jumping to conclusions.
They're berating somebody for liking something now and not back then. They'll just feel compelled to lie to you and act as though they were OG into it because admitting that you're a fresh fan comes with that baggage of LARPing accusations.
No. That makes them more of a LARPer. That's why people call them LARPers. Like, you've invented this problem that doesn't exist.
Also, they don't say, trust me, I'm an OG. They'll say something like, well, why are you so weird in this fandom space, bro? Can't you just be normal like me? And it's like, no, that's why I came here.
What's really funny is seeing the LARP-tards try to gatekeep different kinks. I sound schizo, but I swear this is a thing. I've seen all these posts saying, like, I'm an OG in this fetish. You new gens wouldn't understand. You would have gotten bullied for liking this 10 years ago. Like,
These come from
number one.
First off, these come from TikTok. So let's stop with showing the TikToks. TikTok is cringe and gay. Also, second off, nobody talks about this about feet and armpits. They talk about this about MILFs. Because for a long time, you genuinely were a weirdo to like MILFs, and now, like, it is the only acceptable fetish. Or muscle mommies.
Well, you see, those are by whims who decided, you know what, I'm an adult now, so I can only like adult women, and it'll literally be some it'll be, what is it, that one cowgirl from that one hentai that I saw floating around for a while, and it'll literally be like, this is the only thing I can like, because I'm an adult now.
Okay, I didn't even know that kinks had like levels of popularity. You could just have sex and that's it. Like, what?
Thank you for the raid, by the way, Temp. I have to point out that this guy doesn't know what a kink is, apparently. He's like, I didn't know kinks had like all this. I thought kink was just you have sex and that was it. You poor sweet summer child. You are so horrendously inexperienced. Or you're LARPing about being inexperienced because you don't want people to think you're a gooner, which is genuinely a thing kind of in the TikTok community.
Even better, we just know you're just, forget being LARPing and not being wanting to expose as a gooner. You're just a virgin. And I say that as a virgin.
What's insanely dumb too is that I've seen people want their favorite things to stay unpopular so that they can feel niche.
It's not so we can feel niche. I don't know who told you that. It's not so we can feel niche. It's because we know that when they become popular, they're going to change like everything else, and then it's going to be shit and we're not going to like it.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with it being niche.
Listen, it's like the whole thing with like My Little Pony. I was an OG. Now we got all these creepy weirdos here that are like, well, this character wouldn't act like this. And it's like, shut up. This is for 5-year-olds.
I saw a TikTok pointing out different underground artists, and some comment said, no, don't be talking about this artist publicly, we need to keep this niche. I saw that with some guy talking about video essays as well, and a comment said, well, we can't let this get popular. Imagine your favorite YouTuber is on the brink of making it big and being successful, but his quote-unquote fans are begging, no, don't share, keep him small so that I can feel special.
That's a specifically like a TikTok thing. People are fine with like their independent creators becoming big. They're talking when people say keep it niche, they typically mean like series that have already made it, right?
Yeah.
Like I wish Fire Emblem stayed niche, but niche for Fire Emblem is not niche for like a 2-view YouTuber. It's different levels of niche.
Not only that, but some of the best YouTubers are the ones that just aren't that popular or pop off only once in a while, just being themselves. Because when they grow and they start changing, because listen, I loved the anime man. I think his current content is garbage.
Yeah. Pretty bad.
And that's saying a lot because he's the most genuine out of everybody. He's still the most genuine out of everybody now.
Which is pretty sad, honestly. Tells you how bad it's gotten.
Yep.
I can feel like I'm part of the special club and not be considered a normie. If any of you guys have stifled my growth and said, oh, keep Tom's lawyer niche, you are anything but a real fan. And I do think this stems from calling everything LARP. People want their favorite creators to not blow up.
It's so funny how all of this relates back to him specifically. Like, he doesn't have a single argument that's not about him. And I really don't think he cares about any of this stuff. He cares about himself and how it affects himself. All this LARPing stuff stems back to people not making me popular. Maybe your content just sucks a little bit.
Yeah. Again, the best people are the ones that are niche and don't try super hard to please like over 1 million people. One of my favorite YouTubers is straight up Doomer Den, and he hasn't posted in like forever.
If JonTron came back tomorrow, I'd be the first one on his video.
First thing he posted as soon as he got back, he's like, I am making a multi-part special of why I think Chainsaw Man's ending is garbage. And I'm like, yes, he's back!
Because then they'll be mainstream and no longer possess elite ball knowledge anymore, and then they'll just get called a normie or LARPer. But it's completely backwards. I don't care how or when you found my channel, if you're an OG or not, if you like my videos and subscribe, that's fucking awesome. I don't really know how to end this video, just don't be a dick. Accusing everybody who likes everything nerdy of being a LARPer is more annoying than the actual trend-following LARPers themselves.
No, it's not. You're a LARPer. That's why you believe being called a LARPer is more annoying than LARPers. Because you are one.
Also, every single hat right there, there are so many needy there are more needy streamer LARPers than I've ever seen of Umi Neko LARPers. Because at least Umi Neko LARPers still try to learn about Beatrice. And I say that as someone who knows nothing about Umi Neko. There are so many, what is it? Even like the needy, what is it? Actually, the best example was when the needy streamer Overload anime dropped and people were like, there's hero beats in the anime. And it's like, that's literally her main theme.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not gonna lie, I was gonna have us do a second video, but I had no idea we were gonna take that long. No, I think we did good. I didn't expect us to turn like a 13-minute video into 2 hours.
Probably because we were showing that we weren't LARPing.
Rolling Dodge says, I watched the first episode of Needy Streamer Overload and hated it. I have not seen it, so I cannot comment on it, personally.
It's one of those things where it's kind of like, because like I don't hate Needy Streamer and I don't hate game adaptation anime, but you can tell when something was clearly always meant to be a game, and then when it gets to TV, it's like 50-50 it's mostly 70-20 if it's going to be good or bad.
Yeah.
Needy Streamer just looks okay. I'm happy for the creator, though. That's about it.
So I can, thank you, by the way, Internet Zen, for the 10. MILF became okay 2016 to 2018-ish. Mus Clement Mies became semi-mainstream around 2021 to 2022. Wanting female monsters like Sadako grew out of creepypasta fandom. True, probably.
We're talking about that tall lady. I know one of those names is the tall woman. Everybody's been obsessing over the tall woman yokai lately.
She's in a lot of shota porn.
No, there's even better. I'll tell you someone who wasn't a LARPer. So there, you know the myth of the slit mouth woman, right?
Yeah.
So this was back when I was getting into manga. There was like this one guy who just kept redoing like draft after draft after draft and just like uploading it to Twitter of his slit mouth woman romance. Age gap romance, and it's like, I guess you keep remaking it, and then eventually he got published. That was a guy who was like, I want my slit mouth woman romance and I will have it today. Like that's a guy who wasn't a monster girl larper. Oh my god.
Oh, this guy is like literally just a Ninjago creator. So his videos are normally around, like, it swings wildly between 1K views to 10K views. Then you scroll down to Ninjago video essays playlist, and they're all pushing like 150,000. He's the Ninjago video essay guy again. He also has 2 videos before this, one called The Best Fandoms to Be In, which shows Balloons, Regular Show, Minecraft, Puddle 2, and Hatsune Miku. And then another one that's Worst Fandoms to Be In, and it's My Little Pony, Ninjago, Steven Universe, Invincible, and Undertale. Oh, and FNAF.
First off, you do not get into the Vocaloid fandom. You do not interact with anyone from the Vocaloid fandom unless they are on the JP side, because literally half of the EN Vocaloid fandom will complain about like the same 5 trends only because, because like recently there's the whole thing with like the Miku Teto combined song. Most of them don't even crack the top 50, and it's like, well, guys, even though Miku Teto is super popular, we gotta gatekeep it. We gotta stop them from making this trend any bigger. And it's like, guys, everyone's moved on to the Shiguri Ue voice bank. like literally last year.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So popping down his list, or the comments, I'll just do top comments. One of the top comments is, Larper is the new poser. And then somebody replies, just a new replacement. Same with Mog, Chud, Goon, Cooked, and other brain rot terms that are just unnecessary new slang.
Uh-huh.
I always felt that Larper would eventually devolve away from its meaning, like how mid and slop were. Somebody replies, LARP, LARPer, LARPing, aw, look who can't say poser. It's new age term, brother. Everybody just keeps saying poser. Saying LARPing instead of poser is LARPing in and of itself. I just worry I'll get called a poser for not knowing enough about the things I like.
I just like how, if you really think about it, even they're starting to LARP, because even they're like, well, why didn't you just say poser? It's because poser's no longer... we can use it, but like, we know most of the people in the comments that keep saying poser are the exact people that would be like, oh, guys, stop, I'm a LARPer, stop calling me a LARPer. Oh yeah, no, somebody said, yeah, no, don't interact with the Vocaloid community. Just go find that one niche producer that you really, really like and then hope they get popular. My favorite producer was Kikuo, and now he's doing world tours. Now I have Yoshihisa Hirata and A4, or what is it? Kaede Tadano. Go look up those people. They're actually really cool.
This person has a normal take. I mean, there's a difference between new fans who actually want to get into whatever it is, and people who are genuinely posers/tourists and just pretend to like something because it's cool and trendy on TikTok. Also, their account name is Adachi Ray.
To be fair, like every Vocaloid has, like, I trust more people that are like the Hatsune Miku fandom than the Vocaloid fandom, because the Vocaloid fandom is basically incestuous and you can only like the thing or hate the thing. If you like or hate the thing, then you will be outcasted or you will be fully accepted. Like the whole thing of Mimikawa Miku and how everybody was like, oh, this is so weird and it looks like a child, and if you go over the person's entire account, this is just how they draw, and you just got offended because she did Masurugaki. And I'm like, brother, I've seen adults flirt like this. This is nothing new.
Somebody replied, kind of sad knowing I would have been bullied if I was a Sonic fan before the great switch up in culture. No, you wouldn't. Sonic has always been popular. Again, like there was like a little bit of a middling time where Sonic went from popular to unpopular because of DeviantArt, and then it came back.
You Sonic 06. That's what is it? What is it? Like, cause like Sonic was popular. Then Sonic 06 came out and everybody was kind of like, okay, that's a bad game. Then of course, YouTube popped off and everyone always made fun of and showed off why Sonic 06 was bad. So then everyone started making fun of Sonic 06 and like being like, how could you like Sonic? Or at least how could you like 06? And then people started trying to LARP recently being like, Sonic was never bad. Sonic was always popular because they got a couple of good movies, and it's like, get back down there. Get back to your place.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody just doesn't seem to get it. And they're all like taking his word for it. Like, no, you don't understand. Like, all of this stuff, super unpopular like 5 years ago. No? What are you talking about?
I heard about Sayamo Uta probably within the last, like...
Oh my God.
I've always heard it floating around. And then when it popped off, even the Sayamo Uta fans are LARPers. Because they literally are like, this one game, it's so gross. How could they have Saya in a game like this? And she's doing most of it. How could they have Saya with this creep? She's the creep. Kendra, I have Cosmograph. What's Cosmograph? Is Penny niche Mizu?
Penny who? My Penny?
I'm assuming yes. The Penny from Pokemon.
No, I don't think she is. There's so much porn of her, it's ridiculous.
Unfortunately, Pokemon, you can't have in each character because they're someone's favorite. What is it?
I'm leaving a terrible comment.
Oh no. Oh my gosh. What is it? Cosmograph does a lot of the music for Nike. Oh, okay. What is it? Oh, so like how Dragon Ball fans aren't fans because they never watch the show. No, exactly, because you got a lot of Dragon Ball fan posers out there. The problem with a lot of people that like, here's the thing. There's Dragon Ball fans and then there's Naruto fans. Dragon Ball fans are dumb for the fact that they just don't read Dragon Ball. And it really shows because they're like, why would I watch the beginning when I could just watch Z? Or why can I do that when I can just watch DBZ Abridged? No. At least they're trying to like Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Naruto fans, and specifically Boruto fans, are a specific type of breed because Boruto fans will literally argue with everyone but watch their series. They will do everything but watch their series and argue with other fans of their series about how their character is better.
Exactly.
Same thing with JJK fans. They're like, clearly, my character with 50 battle scars is better than your character. I think a good example of a dedicated fandom that Geek kept successfully is freaking Fairy Tail, because I remember when the Maki episode came out, and they tried so hard to, like, mog on Fairy Tail fans, specifically the Urza and Lucy fans, and I'm a Lucy fan, and everyone collectively was like, your character has literally nothing on any of these Fairy Tail characters. There is more female representation in Fairy Tail than most of shonen, and you're never going to compete with that because your character was put in a coma for literally the rest of the series from this point.
Oh, hey, Twitter finally gave me my check mark.
Wow.
I finally have a blue check again.
You're back.
Oh, speaking of like somewhat like Larper, right? And I almost, I don't want to have to do this, but it kills me inside. And here, I'll share it for Kendra so Kendra can see it too.
Let me see.
Let me scoop me and Kendra back into our corner here, so I could shut the chat and complain about this. I actually think this is semi-related to the Larper stuff, even though the person we're talking about is 100% not a Larper at all. But it breaks my heart a little bit.
Yup.
So, if you don't know, David Szymanski made a game called Dusk and a game called Iron Lung. Little game called Iron Lung. And he was commenting on the new mixtape game. He said, that mixtape game doesn't really look appealing to me, but I don't know why it's igniting 2014 walking simulator discourse when that type of game has existed for years now. The guy says, prior walking sim games were not put up as one of the best games of the year, even all-time or based on the glazing it is getting. He replies, that's completely untrue. Even going back decades, this exact same rhetoric surrounded Myst, which is one of the most lauded games of 1993.
First off, 1993. Like, you could do the only thing you could do in those games in 1993 was walk.
To point out, if I go to just that tweet, plenty of people called him out on this. Myst was not a walking simulator. Myst is also completely lauded because it genuinely, for its time, was like genuinely amazing. Like Half-Life level amazing for what it did. So it's bizarre that the Dusk devs comparing Myst to Mixtape. Somebody replies, Myst was not a walking sim, it was a puzzle game that had walking elements. And then he says, Gone Home was a walking sim, and it was one of the most critically lauded games of that year. Same with Dear Esther. My point is, this type of game design and this debate were hashed over years ago.
Again, okay, I've
Gone
never
Home
played
and Dear Esther were hated. Gone Home specifically, it got rave reviews from every major gaming news company, which is how we found out they were all colluding and corrupt. This is literally what got exposed. That game specifically literally exposed those companies as having a mailing list where they colluded on what reviews to give games because they thought their opinion mattered. It's so weird that fucking David Szymanski does not know this, that he is so disconnected from gaming as a concept that none of this stuff was in his mind at all. And he was still fighting people on it.
Listen, all I'm saying is that the success of Iron Lung, the blood from the Iron Lung may have gotten into his brain a little too hard.
It's Depression Quest got it too, but Gone Home also got rave reviews. Also, yeah, I couldn't figure out what he meant by Dear Esther. Dear Esther, as far as I could tell, was not popular at all. Gone Home did get rave reviews from companies, But those same companies didn't even talk about Dear Esther, so... Off too much boomer shooter. I feel like this is like somewhat in the realm of what we were talking about, but like he's not a he's an actual really good game dev, so it's super bizarre that he fucked that conversation up so bad. Also, I accidentally clicked my VTube Studio and fucked up my screen.
I saw the screen like right now. I'm just like, my thing is like, you can tell it's not that he's like, it's like the whole thing of like arguing in bad faith. Because anybody with like an even modicum of knowledge of seeing the thing with like mixtape, this game is a bad game. And I'm someone who tries to still find merit in like games and stuff like that, even if it's like unconventional and even if it's not my taste. A good example, I think card games suck. The physical version and especially the digital version. But I still like them because somebody out there enjoys them. What I don't understand is, again, arguing in bad faith, where it's like, I don't understand why people hate this thing. Is like the same way as it gives the same impression of, I don't understand why people hate Concord. It's had work put behind it, and it's like, yeah, I put work into making my sandwich and then pooping it out later. That's about the same amount of effort.
I will also show these two that have come across my desk today. We'll do this one first because this is related to mixtape, which we were just talking about. So this is Christina Tasty, who covers these kind of video games sometimes. They're the reason I played Dustborn, which I still hate them for being the reason I played Dustborn. This is them explaining why they don't like mixtape, and it's just this 3-minute clip, and I think it's fine to like just play it uninterrupted for the most part, but we can pause it whenever.
Yeah. So in this cutscene, we're just going to. Oh, by the way, we're going to ignore this. I'm not going to be pressing a single thing. I'm just going to be ranting, as you can see. So
I just realized we're not going to get copyrighted, right?
We might.
Oh well.
Are you streaming too? Would you like me to not play it?
Oh no. I was just wondering, like, because I remember. Oh wait, they have licensed music.
Fair enough. Well, I could just show this because I only played a little bit of it so far. So she talks about it this entire time. Like you can see like these little prompts pop up for her to do something. She doesn't press a single one. She just sits here and talks the entire 3 minutes with her hands off the keyboard. And she still completes the sequence. Because your impact on this sequence is 0. You press the buttons to feel like you are doing something. In reality, it literally has no effect. It doesn't slightly change the outcome at all. Nothing. And people have shown it's not just this sequence. Any sequence where you're moving, you can just not touch anything. And it doesn't matter. Game literally plays itself. And you always get the same ending, no matter what. It's not even like a visual novel. Means Dustborn is more of a game than this. Technically true. Also, I think Kindred died. Kendra. Kinders. She muted herself. But yeah, she just talks about how the main reason she does not like this is because there's no point. And she mentions because there's no point and because that nothing you do matters, it's hard to be invested in the story because you know no matter what, your character is going to win even if you don't do it. Music Killer. No wonder it's DSP's favorite game. And we'll get Kendra's opinion on this when she gets back. But I saw this today. Where somebody says, lolly, Rebecca's a lolly, don't be a pussy, call her a lolly as God intended. And they said, I've created an image to clarify the situation. Apparently calling Rebecca a lolly is the centrist position. Calling her not a lolly means you're either like far left or far right, I guess. And then they put out like this big essay. Right? And we'll get Kendra's thoughts on it when Kendra gets back here. But they use the extremely flawed head height method. Which, if you don't know, the head height method is worthless. Like, just genuinely, absolutely worthless. Basically, they say every character up top here is not a lolly. Which, I don't know why they put the gym twink up here. I could have swore he was a twink. This guy right here. But maybe I'm incorrect on that one. They put Rebecca up here above Rory. So Rebecca is less of a lolly than even Rory is. Welcome back.
Hello. What's happened?
So, this person tried to make like this list of what is and isn't a lolly. Basically, specifically because they do not believe Rebecca qualifies as a lolly. So,
why is false on here?
This is their list of what is and is not a lolly. For some reason, they just called teen girls shoujos.
I'm just stuck on why Light is on here. Foss has a canonical height. She is an adult woman.
Yeah.
Like, she's actually an adult woman. Oh my god.
Maybe you can correct me on this, but isn't the gym person here a man?
So, okay, so Foss Light. Okay, so there's like lore stuff. So basically, technically all the gems are genderless, but they fall on male, female, whatever is like they kind of default to, and it kind of emphasizes on what their character is. And it kind of becomes important for one character later on because they take on a more mask appearance, and then they take on a more feminine appearance later because of manipulation by like a villain character. But pretty much all of the characters basically have the body of a woman, and some of them have the pronouns of a boy or a girl and whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I ran.
But they put out this list, and they basically said that every character up here is not actually a lolly. To which I would point out that because they are using the head method, that Diana from 7Ds, who is a giantess, is actually more of a lolly than most of these characters here. I believe she is about 5 heads tall because of the way her proportions are done. She is technically a lolly.
Also, I don't understand. Okay, because here's the thing. Because like my definition of lolly is like the author has to state it. Because then you'll have certain people who, again, because there's a lot of characters from Witch Hat Atelier here. Hold up.
We wait for Kendra. Chat, they're in lolly because they solely use the head height method. That is the only thing they actually use to determine what is and isn't a lolly.
Okay, I'm back. Basically, what I was trying to say
By the way,
the
you can see all the
is-
Witch Hat Atelier girls like right here, pretty much, in this section.
Yes. Exactly. My problem is that when it comes to characters like the Witch Hat Atelier cast, like Anya from Spy Family, is that these are not really lolly characters. That's just literally how tall they are.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you should compare characters who are literally like the whole thing about lolly is that they're stunted. They're not going to grow any taller than what they are. Like stuff like Rebecca or
I don't necessarily
Rory.
agree with that. Because I think everybody would say Kana's the quintessential lolly, and she's probably going to get bigger eventually.
She's going to get bigger eventually, but like she's going to be bigger as in like dragon years, and that's not going to happen
with
anytime
Tanya.
soon. Yeah, but then what is it? Because like the thing with like Tanya is like she's a grown man, and like she's the lolly, but like you can tell it's a grown man if like you're watching the series.
Yeah, I think though that lolli means for like how they are specifically in the anime right now.
Yeah.
Just to point out though, all of these characters are more lolli than Megumin by this chart.
Well, that's why they called them shoujo.
Because like there's some on here I could see the argument for, right? Like I have constantly been said that Rory specifically is very on the fence. Extremely on the fence, but I lean her more towards the not lolli side than the pro lolli side.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah, I've like always been back and forth with it because it's like she definitely does fit like the age category, but something about her design is like she's just more fashion. She's just more like goth Lolita than like lolli.
She doesn't feel like lolli. Rukia never struck me as a lolli either. This will be my hot take. I actually think Rukia is more of a lolli than Rory.
Yeah.
That's a personal belief. There's a couple in here, like, I don't think I've ever heard somebody call a lolli. Like, they have Fischl right here from Genshin. I don't think I've ever heard anyone actually call her a lolli.
I've seen Chuni. I have one friend who does Genshin. It's like, she's a Chuni.
Yeah.
Like, not lolli.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody call her a lolli. I've seen some people kind of on the fence with Ina, specifically.
Why is Nagatoro here?
She's mixed in right here.
Why did you use her manga panel specifically?
Yeah.
Like, we have all these anime stills, and it's just the one manga panel.
Also, you put Rebecca so far from Tatsumaki. You specifically used Rebecca's, like, a drawing of her. I think that's because Rebecca in the actual anime has a bigger head than that.
Yes. So in the concept art, so the thing is, because like some people have done this when it comes to like lolli characters, is they'll draw them normal so that they can see the body placement, and then they'll correct everything in the art, like when it starts getting drawn. Because let's be real here, some concept art looks trash when it's not in action.
Yeah. Because like, if you actually take anime Rebecca and put her next to Tatsumaki, they have almost the identical proportions in every way, which is why they're constantly mentioned together, because they're so close to each other and like their sizes. But by this chart, you would think that Tatsumaki and Rebecca were like this ridiculous offset in how they're designed, when in reality, how they're actually drawn, they're not. Oh yeah, that's another thing chat mentions, but also the gym boy looks like some kind of sketch from the manga instead of from the anime for some reason.
I'm pretty sure that is from the original concept of when the anime was going to be 2D. So they didn't even use something from straight. If they did use it, either A, it's the concept art, or B, it's one illustrations from when... Because Ichikawa do like cover art of showing like where the character's progress is. It's either one of those. Either way, like that's not an accurate way to do that.
I would also say that I'm kind of glad they included the gym character in here, because I think they're a fantastic example of why you can't just use this height or this 7 heads style, because the actual style for that show is so much different than like traditional anime styles. Because they go really for like the long, slender characters all across the board.
I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, every gemstone, because again, there's a specific lore reason as to why every gemstone, with excluding their hair and their shoes, is I think 4/9. Every single one of them.
Yeah.
So they literally do not count.
Lucky Star characters are just art style, I think. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, some of it's just art style. And this is why the head thing doesn't work. Because a lot of artists aren't thinking about the head shape or, like, the head size when they're designing a lolli character or not. They're just like, the head's normally a little bit bigger. Let's make it a little bit bigger. They're not like, specifically, the head needs to be exactly this proportion bigger.
Not only that, but like, number one, Conant is moe, and even if she's a lolli, if you make her that small, that means you have to make every one of the other girls small too.
Yeah. Like they're going by height, by like head height, and it's like that does not work because Megumin's probably smaller than like half the girls on this entire center section. Like just straight up.
Like height, like the gym height. Let me see. Everyone is 155 meters to 160 meters.
Fair. Why is Roxy there? She'd be similar in size to young Iris and Sylphie. Because they wanted to have a bigger shoujo section, I guess. It's the same reason why, like, Fischel is in here, even though, again, I've never heard anyone refer to her as a lolli before. Ever. I don't think they're, like, I guarantee somebody has said it before, but I've never heard it, and it's never been a big discussion point. Also, the only reason I've never heard anybody refer to Shimikaze over here as a lolli is because everybody thinks they're a man. Specifically because of porn.
You're talking about the bunny ears, am I right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, 100%. I'm like half convinced.
Everybody thinks they're a man.
I also don't understand why even Ina, because like I've seen someone do the whole like, well, I go by like I've seen some people be like, oh, I go by baby face with anime characters, and I'm like, how? They all quite literally are young.
Yeah.
Like, no one wants to see an old person in anime. What baby face?
I also like they do this cutoff here, and then they're like, Anya and then the person from Dr. Stone are toddlers. It's just
Okay,
a random
bro,
cutoff there.
Number one, Becky is also a toddler. She's like they like clearly shrunk her down. They shrunk Anya down because her and Becky are like, they're like very off by like a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh,
And like Anya's head is only a bit bigger than Becky's because they're trying to make her look more moe and more expressive.
exactly.
This has nothing to do with trying to make her look younger.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, no, I saw this. This was their original thing up here, though.
Oh my gosh. Rebecca is not a lolli. Rebecca is a lolli. Rebecca is not a lolli.
Rebecca is a lolli is the centrist fence sitter position, apparently. This was their big explanation. There's no single criterion to determine whether or not a character's a lolli. However, calling Rebecca a lolli is such a stretch that it really just makes the word meaningless. She fails the head height to body height ratio test. She has the proportions of a petite adult female. She doesn't act like a child. That's debatable if you actually watch it. And her canonical age is that of an adult. Trigger calling her a lolli, as is widely reported, is insufficient argument for two reasons. One, they only called her this because CDPR called her that first. CDPR did not call her that first.
Sorry.
The Japanese have a tendency to just use whatever word foreigners use to communicate smoothly, so I don't see this as Trigger directly saying Rebecca is a lolli. No, CDPR said that Rebecca had to go, and then Trigger replied with, the lolli must stay. This is not them doing smoother communication.
Not only that, they straight up said, we need to remove Rebecca because if everybody in this cyberpunk city, no one would make themselves look that young. And literally everybody was like, that's a lie? I want to look that young.
This is the quote they put for it. Going further into detail, it's revealed why Cyberpunk 2077 developer was apprehensive about the character. CD Projekt Red first got the character design for Rebecca, and they were like, she's a lolli. Lollies don't exist in Night City. It doesn't fit the Cyberpunk 2077 aesthetic. But Trigger was like, no, the lolli must stay. No, CD Projekt Red did not say that. I have no idea where you pulled this from. They did not use the word lolli.
Like, we have an interview saying this, like a physical, live, breathing person interview of like, she looks too young, and it didn't work. We didn't think it would fit into our world, and they were like, no, the lolli must stay. She will stay, or else we will not move forward with this project.
2, the intention of creators shouldn't be a large factor in the decision to begin with. Creators are wrong about their own work all the time, or might have reasons to obscure the truth. I partially agree with this, because of the reason of Hestia. Because to this day, I refuse to accept that Hestia is a lolli. Don't think she fits. However, I have had multiple people also tell me that the director does not intend her to be a lolly, and that it's supposed to be like an in-universe joke making fun of her, which I would hope, because I feel like she just doesn't fit any criteria at all.
Mm.
It says it's not a political statement to say Rebecca is a lolly. It's a matter of using words correctly so they actually mean something. Here's the reality, right? When we get up to here, there's no single criterion to determine whether or not a character is a lolly. That's kind of the point. It's supposed to be a feel. If you see a character and they feel like a lolly, they probably are one.
Exactly. Like a good example is Taiga from Toradora. Everyone, even though like she fits the aesthetic, most people are like, nah, she's just short.
Yeah. It's a feeling. It's not like an actual, like, it's definitely a lolly.
Yeah.
I agree with this sentiment, but people abuse this line of thinking to justify a bunch of dumb stuff. Yeah, but I don't care what they're doing. This is us.
Yeah. We're the real nerds here. We're not larpers.
Exactly.
Like, we can determine, because we've been in here a lot longer, there's a reason why veteran fan is even a term. Because, get this, we know the criteria, we know the lore, we can give it to the newcomers. If newcomers come in and are like, this looks weird, we'll explain it. And if they still refuse, get out.
Look at these essays they're writing on this, by the way.
I'm not reading all of that.
We'll do the core of my argument. The core tenet of my argument is that lolly quickly loses its meaning when applied to characters who are not little girls. When the definition of a word is in doubt, we should defer to the strictest sense of the word, so the word does not lose its epistemological value. My image could have said lollies are little girls at the extremities versus lollies don't have to be little girls in the center to make my stance clear. No, it's a fan term. It does not need to be strict epistemologically correct. If it was epistemologically correct, lolly is, strictly speaking, a Russian girl from a Russian novel about pedophiles. That's
that's exactly my opinion of when I look at this.
My argument for this case can end there, but I would further argue that calling teenage characters like Megumin, Asuka, and Misaka lollies is also a gross misuse of the word. Megumin is a sex goddess, and on a biological level, we all know that attraction to prepubescent girls is natural. You are trying to get yourself in trouble, brother.
First up, I've never seen someone say Asuka's a lolly, and I've never seen someone say Misaka's a lolly. Like, I think they're talking about Tuaru. They're talking about Tuaru no Index because I'm pretty sure that's Misaka.
That's what I thought they meant too.
I've never seen anyone call Misaka a lolly, especially when there's an actual main character lolly in there called Index. The name of the show this girl is named after. Like, okay, bro.
Always be a fuzzy gray area when determining a character is a lolly, but the solution is not to rely on vibes. That's literally the solution, brother. It doesn't matter.
This guy is. We got to get him out of here. He's in too deep, bro. He's in too deep.
In too deep. I'm trying to keep my head from going under.
Oh my gosh.
Teal dear, lollies are little girls. Saying anything else is nonsensical by virtue of what definition is most useful. Make lollies great again.
Oh my gosh. I think you need to get offline, bro.
They're still arguing. Lolly doesn't mean child. This opinion is on the definition of a word has been brought to you by people who think words don't mean anything.
Do not. If they bring up the freaking urban slang dictionary, I'm going to beat my head into a wall.
Oh no, these are people's tweets.
Okay, good. These are people. Every single time people always bring up lolli clearly means little girl. It's literally Urban Dictionary. It's always Urban Dictionary. And it's like, if it didn't come from Japan and you didn't translate it yourself, I'm not going to take your opinion seriously.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Ooh, pizza taco.
But chat, that's all I had for tonight.
Oh my god.
I wanted to touch on that because I wouldn't have any other time to say it, to bring it up. We were gonna do a second video tonight, but we'll save it for next week. I will warn you, chat, that me and Kendra were not gonna beat the allegations, and we were gonna do another video on black people in anime.
Unfortunately. Yeah, we're not beating the allegations anytime soon. Unfortunately, I'm a self-hating racist, and Mizu is from the South, so it was only a matter of time.
Exactly. Yeah, chat, next video. I'm gonna try and do like more videos throughout the week. I'm working on it. I'm sorry I've been like a little slack. I've also told people on my Discord, but I'll say it here as well. I'm gonna start taking all of the anything that's like gaming videos that's not Lautism or Anituber audits or like the other stuff I've been doing, and I'm gonna move it to a second channel because supposedly that's supposed to help with growth or something. So I'm gonna at least try it, and I'll start working this week on like a Mizu VODs channel for like the gaming stuff. But other than that, night everybody. Hope you have a good one. I've got a little VTuber to raid everyone into. I hope you enjoy them.
Yo.
How would you like to tell chat anything, Kinders?
Everyone, go find that one niche series you like and enjoy it, because it actually shows that you like the medium outside of popular crap.
What's the video? I can't remember the name off the top of my head. Let me pop up in my messages with Kendra because I'm pretty sure I sent it to Kendra. It's called "You're Programmed to Hate Black People Due to Misrepresentation in Television."
This is gonna be Listen, you're not gonna understand. Listen, even if it was true, you're not gonna actually understand it because I have more nuanced reasons than you do.
But it looks like they're still streaming, chat. So be good for them. Have a good night, and we'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.